My lighting, are you good or not? Oh well. Okay, gotta make my going live post.
Okay.
Tweet. Instagram.
I like the little thumbnail that you did for the icon.
It was hard to put me in there because the shape.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Hello, Tay. Is it Tay? And then I'm going to add a fleet.
Okay.
And then I'm done. Yeah. Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Yep. Okay, I'm done. Put that down. Yes, yay! How are you doing, Tay? Today we are doing another horror streamer interview, talking to Nemesis about his Twitch journey, about his gaming history, his love for horror games, and things like that. Hugs for Voltron. If any of our audios need to be adjusted, just let me know. I have the mic right in my face, so hopefully you can hear me better than the previous interviews. Tomorrow is our last interview, and future interviews will be more spread out. This was just like an experimental thing where I had it every day this week, and I learned a lot. It was pretty interesting, so, and pretty fun. I know today will be fun because we have a lot of Resident Evil topics to talk about, in addition to Nemesis. So I really love indie horror games. So I signed up for a bunch of websites, including Keymailer, which I definitely recommend Keymailer because they actually, fast working. And I got a key for this game called Devour, but it comes out the same day as Medium. Or yeah, I don't think I'll be playing it before Medium though. But yeah, it looks cool. Devour and Medium, definitely looking forward to this month. Hey Becky-chan, how are you? Just so you know, Nemesis, you feel I want you to feel at home, so feel free to talk to chat as well. They will be asking questions as well. You still there? Oh, he said be right back. Okay. So it's just me here. Hello. How are you guys? How are you guys? Yeah, so one more interview this week. No more um collabs for a while. I do have a collab next Friday. We're gonna play Left 4 Dead. I was thinking about doing a community day, maybe like every other Friday or something like that, so I could play with other people that I haven't played with before. All the majority of the people I did interview with in the past week have wanted to have expressed interest to collaborate with me in the future, and I expressed interest to collab with them as well. Um, but no scheduled ones for a while. My day was good. How was yours, Becky? He's AFK at the moment. Nemesis is AFK. But yeah, so the first so there was like what, 8 interviews, I think. So 5 of them were new faces to you guys, most likely new faces. But yesterday and today and tomorrow are faces that you probably have seen, names and faces from our community. So Nemesis, Funky, and Seawing, people from our community. So not as streamers, it is important to strengthen your community. I mean, you can't really expand effectively if you don't have a strong community, you know what I'm saying? Streaming pretty much um is not, it's not about becoming famous. It's about having a community. That's what it's really about, cuz without a community you can't be famous, and I'm sure Pokemon started that way. I always I always use her as an example cuz I don't know anybody else. I mean, I guess all the esports people, but you know, I don't know anything about that. Hey, Crazy, how you? Yeah, tomorrow is Funky, and that's the last scheduled interview. I'm thinking either we won't schedule any more until February, because I really like to finish Resident Evil Revelations 2. I like to play some Medium, and then there's Devour we just got a key for from an indie dev. Noise, noise. Excited. Uh, if you're talking to them, I don't hear you. Oh, you're welcome to talk. I want you to feel at home. You're my guest. Be my guest. Be my guest. I forgot the rest of the song.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello?
I hear you. You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Hello, everybody. Nemesis here. How's everybody in the chat?
Becky says hello.
Hello, Becky.
Hey, Angel. Do you have a song? You have this song stuck in your head? What is it? Hey, TDX, how are you? Remember the story I told you yesterday? Yes.
Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I was too for a lot of the interviews. I feel more comfortable today though.
I'm a very chill person. I try cause uh like if like I'm usually like an open book. Like if anybody wants to ask me anything in the chat, like feel free.
Hey, Elaine. Hey, Justin. Lucas ripping off his fingernails? Oh, I don't know that song.
Sorry, I don't have a camera, by the way. My camera is broken right now, so I might have to get another one. So, um,
You know what would be cute? If your profile picture was like an animated version of Nemesis.
I actually tried finding that one time too.
No, I mean like someone did a art just for you, but like they added something to make it, you know, like only so when people Google it, it's your image, you know? You know what I mean? Like just, I don't know. Like, you know, mine, it looks like someone drew it. Something like that.
That would be interesting.
It'd be cute. Oh, what if it was Chibi? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what? If
like
it was what?
like an anime.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that'd
haven't
be cute.
watched anime in probably 7 years.
Aw. I mean, I haven't watched too many lately, but I love your panels and your banner and all of that.
Oh, thank you.
I just think that your profile picture, if it was like animated, like a drawing or something, it'd be so
If I
cute.
can if I can find somebody for that, I'll definitely get on that. If
Hey,
anybody in the chat knows like an artist, have them reach out to me.
I want to see. I didn't even see what your emotes look like.
Oh, they're I think they're just
Nemesis.
random zombies. Um I did have some Resident Evil emotes, but as of this point, I guess fans can't have Resident Evil emotes or like anything Capcom related
Oh,
because I guess
copy.
Capcom
Right.
made this like policy about emos saying like, oh, uh, fans can't have like any of their IP emotes, which is honestly really stupid. I don't know why. But yeah, they some of their stuff in their new policy that they created is just really over the top ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I had to get rid of those because of that policy. So I just had to switch it back to like random zombies.
I do like the zombies, and I like the channel point gun thing.
Oh yeah, I had to get well I wanted to get something that kind of resembles like Resident Evil. So I mean, I wish I could have had like a samurai edge gun, but
Ooh.
can't do that. So I found that gun emotes. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna put that for the channel points, and I'm still trying to work on the channel points now. I looked at the channel point, and I don't know because I'm still new to the whole Twitch thing right now, so I don't really know how like everything is, you know, how everything is on Twitch yet. Um, do you have to have like a certain following to customize the channel points? Because I tried doing that, and
No.
they were only able to like allow me to customize the points, but not like the names or anything.
Oh. Oh, okay. I think you're talking about the default points. You can add stuff, but there's like default Twitch ones. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
It might.
But
Um, Somebody might have to show me that because when I went to the channel points section, I found only the you can like increase and decrease the points, but I couldn't like name the titles or anything like that. Unless I'm looking in the wrong area. but
um, yeah, I'm no expert, but I would definitely help any way I can.
well, thank you,
Becky,
I appreciate it.
I Chibi Nemesis like like actually if it looked just like your emotes, like that type of art style, that'd be cute.
Chibi
So
Nemesis.
cute. Come on, he's like scary, but he's cute. I'm just kidding. That probably take away the theme of your channel.
that uh That the Nemesis icon that I use for my channel, that's actually a mod that somebody created
Ooh.
for the actual games, and I found an image of it online. I was like, this is what Nemesis should have been in RE3 because I'll be honest with you, for those of you who played RE3, the remake version that is, um, that Nemesis sucks. it's I try to give it a chance, but he's not scary, he's not intimidating. Uh the way he says the stars line was utter garbage. I
It's
just
fun.
I couldn't even take him seriously at this point because Nemesis was just kind of like a joke in the remake. That's why I kind of miss. It's kind of sad that the original design that somebody modded for RE3 is a lot better than what Capcom Dev 1 created for the remake. I kind of wish they would have used the guy who voiced Nemesis originally back in the 90s, his name was Tony Rosato, and he passed away a while ago. But he was the original Nemesis for the 1999 RE3 game. And I think uh, they should have used Tony Rosato's Nemesis voice and just enhanced it. That way it would sound somewhat more scarier.
you
Because this Nemesis, I don't know, it sounds like he's.
know, there's this
I,
community I want to introduce you to.
Yeah.
that you would be perfect for in case you wanted to make friends and expand in that
Okay.
um Resident Evil community. Flash horror. But hello, that one, bruh. Yeah, you're definitely an expert, and I think you'd. I know this community has podcasts, and I think you'd just be absolutely perfect with your
Okay.
expertise. And
Oh, I'm a Resident Evil fanatic. I mean, any if anybody has a question regarding Resident Evil, if you're new to the series, like feel free to like reach out to me and ask me any question because I'm like a fanatic.
I'll reach out to that person. Do you use Discord a lot?
I'm sorry.
Do you use Discord a lot?
No, I used to what?
Discord.
Go. Oh, Discord.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes I do.
Yeah, you would. It would be a perfect place to make friends and um to grow your channel.
I honestly thought you said, "Do you scored?" I'm like, what?
Sorry, sometimes I mumble. I don't mean to. It's just a habit.
Oh, it happens. I do the same thing sometimes.
New headphones? Well, my other headphones decide to just die. I mean, I don't know. One bud still works, but the other don't. And I got a new PC case, so like okay, so my PC case was this, no lie, it was pretty small. That's why it got overheated. It was pretty small, no lie. Like this. Not lying. It was this big. We threw it out. I got a
Tech
new PC case. It has a lot more room. Um,
technologies. Technology can be a bitch sometimes.
I don't want to take a picture of it yet because we're not done with it. They're gonna add more stuff to it. But it's RBG. Wait, did I say that right? RG. Whatever, you know the rainbow stuff.
I think that one bro asked me what is my opinion on Resident Evil 4. I think it's a good game. It was the game that actually changed the series. Um, there are certain things about it that I don't like regarding, like Ashley Graham. I hate Ashley Graham. I think she partly ruined that game. Um, I I was okay with the direction it went, but then when Resident Evil 5 came out, I didn't like the over the top action. I'm like, Resident Evil 5 and 6 are over the top, like ridiculously fun games, but I don't see them as Resident Evil games because it kind of really lacks story and character development. Same thing with Resident Evil 7. Uh, I think Resident Evil 7 was a great survival horror game, but I sincerely think it should have been a new IP on its own. Um, and I think Capcom really kind of I think it wasn't really it didn't really have good storytelling and character development because I'm like I really liked Ethan. I wanted to like Ethan Winters as a character, but just by the end of the game, I didn't feel anything for him or any of the characters, and I think Capcom really should have just killed them off. But looking at the RE Village trailer, and we're gonna have more on the 21st. It looks like it has more potential, but I think I will say what I've said about RE7. I think Village will be a great survival horror game, but I don't really see it as a Resident Evil game. Uh, some things about 4, like I said with Ashley Graham, I didn't. I think it was the last. I will say like maybe I think 4 was the very last game that was sort of like Resident Evil before it went to like the over the top action like 5 was. Um but I don't know. The franchise has had its up and downs and it went into like all these certain directions, but I'm still trying to I'm really I don't know. Like I'm still trying to get over the fact like okay, the franchise has changed a lot. And I do accept a lot of changes in the series, but I told people that if Capcom has good storyline and character development, that's the most important thing about RE games. A lot of people think like Resident Evil was always survival horror, but like it's actually horror mixed with action. And the things that people get kind of mixed up on this is uh when Resident Evil 5 came out, they were like really mad about the over the top action. I'm like, there was kind of that in like Resident Evil 1, when you have like Jill Valentine taking down a tyrant, which was the T-102 tyrant with a rocket launcher. That wasn't survival horror, that was action. And Resident Evil has always been survival horror mixed with action, just not over the top of one or the other.
I agree with that one, bruh. Just trying to attract new generations. Uh,
Yeah.
Hello, Daniel and um Raven, and thank you so much for the alert, Jay.
And I don't mind where the games are going. It's just like if they as long as Capcom does it right. Like uh I know a lot of people like the main characters like Chris Redfield, Rebecca Chambers, Joe Valentine, Ada Wong. I know Wesker can't come back unless, Capcom can make a spin-off game that takes place before 5 cuz I honestly want to know where Wesker was like after the events of Resident Evil 1. Um, and I don't see how Capcom can't do that because he was off screen when all these games were happening. And the closest that we got before 5 is when he uh, was working with Ada in the I think it was no the Separate Ways DLC in Resident Evil 4. And I want to know how that all occurs. Like, how does Albert Wesker know who Ada Wong was? When did they start working with each other? Same thing with Krauser. Like Wesker just knew Krauser, and there was no explanation for that whatsoever. So there is a lot of loopholes in the series that need to be answered. Um, and I'm hoping that they do that with like an Ada Wong solo game. I'm hoping because I know people are like, oh, you can't have Ada Wong without Leon, and I'm like, no, that's complete bull. Um, I think Ada Wong deserves to have her own game because we already had a solo game with Jill Valentine. And before anybody says, yes, she needs to come back because we all have been wanting Jill Valentine to come back after 11 years, I honestly want her to have closure. Even if she comes back in Village for like a 30-second cameo, let's say like she's married to Chris or something like that. If they do that, then fine, they'll give her closure at least because I don't want her to be left out of the series because she is a fan favorite.
That one
And
bruh says we need to get you a job at Capcom.
hell, if that happens, at least I could say uh I have better ideas than what Capcom comes up with because what they're coming up with, I mean, I kind of question the CEO over there because that man, I heard he's like 80 years old. So I'm like, making all these rules and stuff like that. I'm like, honestly, he needs to step down, to be honest with you, because I'm like, no person at 80 years old should be running $1 billion corporation.
Aw.
Um, I'm sure he's been there like almost all his life, but like damn, like this guy needs to step down because I'm like the decisions that they're making over there right now is just all over the place. And I've always said that Capcom has been uh they've been messing up for many years, for like the last like 15 years until the RE2 remake came out, and then after that are they're kind of going downhill again, just not as bad as what they used to, but like the problem with Capcom is they focus more on the profits that rather than creativity, and that's why their products don't do as well. And I'm looking at these indie companies. I don't know if you guys have heard of the game. I'm going to be playing it on January 28th. I know CV is going to probably play it too because I know she was talking about it, which was the Medium. And the Medium is very interesting because I'm like I love psychological horror games. I'm a huge fan of Silent Hill. I think Silent Hill 2 was like the greatest Silent Hill game. Like I think it's one of the
Oh, Silent
scariest.
Hill 2, you said?
Yeah,
I agree.
uh, I think it's the scariest Silent Hill game ever made. I think it's one of the scariest games ever made. Um, Still holds up today. Um, I'm still a little bit pissed off that Silent Hills got canceled, but I heard rumors that Konami are going to bring that back. But I kind of doubt that because the way that Konami are, they're really a bunch of money grabbers.
They did say revival, but they didn't clarify what that means. Like if it means reboot, remaster, remake.
Yeah, they were saying like supposedly Silent Hills is going to get resurrected, but I guess because what was his name? Hideo Kojima.
Mm.
They were saying Hideo Kojima, he doesn't really like making horror games, but then all of a sudden he says, "Oh yeah, I'm making a horror game now," because he gets scared of horror games. I heard, and but rumor was having it that I think Hideo Kojima said like I think it like right after Death Stranding came out, he wanted to make his next game survival horror, and a lot of people were speculating that was going to be Silent Hills.
Um,
Um,
sorry. Go ahead.
uh, but I don't. I mean, a lot of people have been wanting a Metal Gear. For those of you in the chat who are Metal Gear fans, um, I know people. I heard that a Metal Gear One remake was rumored to be happening too, and I don't really trust Konami at this point because Konami really has slapped the fans in the face for so many years, and at this point, really nobody trusts them, and I kind of lost all my respect for Konami, and even if they do bring Silent Hills back, I still wouldn't respect them as a company. I'd probably buy Silent Hill because I'm a huge Silent Hill fan. But outside of that, I don't respect Konami at all anymore. And that's pretty sad, to be honest with you, because Konami used to be like one of my favorite companies back in the day. I remember where Capcom and Konami actually used to actually had competition because originally the Silent Hill games was actually supposed to be a competition with Resident Evil on see which company can make the scariest horror game, and that's why Silent Hill got made. Um, but nowadays you wouldn't see that, and it's just kind of sad that Konami has really went downhill because they got greedy, and Capcom were kind of going in that direction for many years, and in 2013 when before they were going bankrupt, and then I guess these I'll be honest with you, these remakes are the reason why they're still afloat. I don't know if Capcom can really come up with good creativity for the next 5 to 10 years, which I'm really worried about. So as of right now, I think the remakes are what's making them bank right now because they're kind of because everybody wants a remake of
Yeah.
Dino Crisis or Code Veronica, and people wanted RE2 and 3. Um, and the problem with RE3 was Capcom outsourced the game, which was the biggest problem that Capcom shouldn't have done and gave it to M2 because I'll be honest with you, M2 didn't know what they were doing with this game. Um, they took literally almost the entire game out. They took more than 50% out. The Raccoon City Park wasn't in there. The Jill couldn't explore the RPD. The Gravedigger was cut. Um, the city hall, they had the puzzle for city hall, but it wasn't even for city hall. It was in there for like an item management thing. And I said this on Twitter a while ago. I was like, because it came to my mind, I was like, okay, M2, why would you have the puzzle for city hall when city hall's not in the game? I mean, they didn't really even have any puzzles. They didn't have like the park puzzles. um and they didn't really have any boss fights. Nemesis wasn't really in the game. He was only in like 4 or 5 scenes. Um, and everything was scripted because in the original Nemesis is unscripted. And when Capcom outsourced RE3, that's where they went wrong because they don't have a really good track record of you know outsourcing their games. Like for one example, Operation Raccoon City, Umbrella Corps, colossal failures in my opinion. I know some people like Operation Raccoon City, but nobody nobody likes Umbrella Corps. I remember when that game first came out. I don't know if you guys were there when this happened too. Uh, but when Umbrella Corps came out, nobody was on the servers. Like it died on release, which was really funny.
Hey, Fox. Thanks for lurking. Thanks for the host. Angel wants to know what
Mhm.
is the scariest imagery you think that was in Silent Hill 2?
Oh God, that's actually a hard one. Uh, there's a lot of them actually. I think the most disturbing imagery that I've seen was with Pyramid Head and the mannequins.
Oh yeah.
I remember the one scene where James is hiding in the closet. That's like really disturbing because uh he's like doing some like sexual things to the mannequins, and I'm like, what is this? But it like highly disturbed me. But that was the greatest thing about Silent Hill. It's like it's supposed to disturb you. Like it's supposed to psychologically mess with your head.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about
It's
games like
supposed to be
this.
disturbing.
hmm I sincerely think one of my besides outside of Silent Hill 2, I think Silent Hill Origins is a very underrated game. It's a great Silent Hill game, but it's very underrated.
Well, Origins, is that, are we talking about the very first one or are we talking about something else?
No, it's a spin-off. It
Okay.
takes place like way after 4, but it's a spin-off in the Silent Hill franchise.
Yeah.
You actually play as a trucker named Travis Grady, and you go into Silent Hill because when you go into Silent Hill, you have to find this girl and uncover the truth, like what happened to her. Because the night prior, which was the start of the game, you rescue her from a burning building, and you want to know what happened to her, and then all this psychological stuff starts happening to Travis Grady. Um, but it's great. It's great. I love it.
Um, I
It was
was.
originally a PSP game, by the way. It was originally
Oh.
on the PSP, and then I guess it got ported to the PS2,
Oh, good.
which I didn't get to play it on the PS2, but I had it originally for the PSP. So,
I was thinking in the future of when I finish the majority of the Resident Evil games, maybe switching to Silent Hill series, cause but it's a
oh
big
yes,
series. I mean,
you have to. It's
should I only
fantastic.
focus on the main games or should I play like Homecoming and Origins and all that?
Definitely played the I what was Downpour? I think you can skip because I Downpour was kind of garbage. Um, but definitely play the first 4 because I know a lot of people.
How many?
There's a lot of people that have mixed feelings about Silent Hill 4. They're saying, "Oh, like, oh, it's not Silent Hill," and then it kind of took a new direction, and it's kind of like a 50-50 thing with Silent Hill 4. But I still see it as a Silent Hill game. I think it's the last Silent Hill game in the main series that was actually scary. And then after when Downpour and Chronicle came out, uh, it kind of it kind of took away the Silent Hill vibe, and it was just kind of like its own thing, which it didn't really make a lot of sense. So I was kind of disappointed in it. Um,
Wonder how many there are. It's probably so many. Well, for the main game, there's only four, or just
yeah, there you got Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the other ones are just spin-offs and
okay.
side games. So
Yeah.
they don't have a connection, I don't think, to the main story.
Oh wait. Is four connected to one through three at all?
Yes, the first 4 are connected.
Okay.
So you want to follow the first 4, and then after 4, you got Origins and all that. Those are just spin-off and side games of the series in the Silent Hill universe,
Yeah, I
but
really
it's not
hope
attached to the main story.
if they ported those, that'd be amazing.
You know, as I want Silent Hill to be ported to like Steam and stuff, but typical Konami's not going to do that. I remember with the HD remaster. Oh my god, that was terrible. Terrible. They literally took out the fog. They literally
Really?
got the dialogue wrong. Like if you look at the
Wow.
subtitles, they couldn't even spell the word right.
Th-
There's like actually some text errors in the cutscenes, and
That's
I'm
so
like,
sad.
wow. They even removed the original voice actors. Like there is like an option where you can have the original voice, but it's cool, but like everything else, like it's glitchy. The fog is mostly gone. Uh, you could see in your distance, but and it just took everything out of it. And the HD remaster, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Should we get should I start asking you some personality questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
um, we will talk more about horror games and take questions from chat in just a moment. But right now, I'm gonna ask him a little about himself to get to know him. I know he's been a part of my community for a couple months now.
I pop in every once in a while.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we met because I found you playing Resident Evil 4, I think it
Yep,
was.
you actually rated me, which again, thank you for that. I didn't get to personally thank you, but thank you, CV, for that. It was shocking because that was actually my first major raid.
That's awesome. If you see my stream, I added Chibi Nemesis. It's out here.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I added a Chibi Nemesis on my stream.
Oh yeah, I see it.
It's
Yeah, I
so
see it.
cute. He's Melgira says Nemesis sounds different than I thought.
Really? How?
He does sound like he can do like a radio or a podcast.
You know, it's kind of funny because I'm actually trying to get into voice acting. Um, it's always been a passion of mine. Not too long ago, I actually did some interviews on my YouTube channel with some Resident Evil voice actors. Uh,
Nice.
my most recent one was Jolene Anderson, who did Ada Wong in the 2019 RE2 remake.
That's awesome.
And I did Nick Apostolidis last year with Nicole Tompkins. And then one of my personal favorites, because I grew up with them and they're like my childhood heroes, uh, was definitely I got to talk to both Heidi Anderson, who played Joe Valentine in the 2002 Resident Evil 1 remake, and Joe White, who did Chris Redfield in the 2002 remake.
That's pretty awesome.
I am trying to get Allison Court because she was one of my inspirations growing up too. Um, it it's I'm a little bit saddened because I didn't get to tell Paul her dad because he played the original Leon S. Kennedy in the 1998 Resident Evil 2 game, and he passed away back in I think over the summer of last year.
Wow.
So it kind of sucks that I wasn't able to tell him that he was like one of my major idols growing up, and him and Allison Cord and uh, Heidi Anderson and Joe White actually inspired me to become a voice actor, and that's why I wanted to do it for so many years.
That's
And
really cool.
I got to thank some of them, which I'm really grateful because meeting my childhood heroes, um, it's just I have no words. Like it's really exciting. It was an honor to get to know them personally, and as and about their characters and stuff like that. I didn't think it was ever gonna happen because when it was happening, I was like, "Pinch me, I must be dreaming," because I'm like, "There's no way I'm gonna talk to my idols," but it did. It did happen. So I'm very thankful that it did. And if I can at least get Allison Court on my channel and have an interview sometime with her in the future, I mean, my life would honestly be it would honestly be complete at that point.
That one bro says, sounds like he'll be the host for Coast to Coast.
The host of Coast to
Hey
Coast.
Faint,
I'm
how
not
are
familiar
you?
with that.
Funky, hello. You're being very nosy. Ha, get it? Nosy. Ah, okay. How
Do
old?
I?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. What? Oh, go ahead.
Metal Gear says, how old were you when you played your first Resident Evil game?
I was 8 years old. I actually played Resident Evil 2. Well, actually, I think it was at the same time I was playing Dino Crisis and Resident Evil 2. I was playing those games simultaneously at 8 years old on the PlayStation 1. Um, but I think I will say that Resident Evil 2 was honestly my first horror game, and I didn't play Dino Crisis until 1999 or 2000. Um, but yeah, 8 years old. Great memories. I used to actually watch people play it, like all family members, and then I went over to some buddies of mine back in the day, and we kind of like snuck in the room because we're not. as a kid, you're not supposed to play horror games at that age, but we did it anyway. Um, but that was one of my first experiences playing Resident Evil 2. Um, and then I started playing Resident Evil 3, then Dawn of Crisis, Code Veronica, and then I went back to play Resident Evil 1. Because I think most people in the RE community can say that, like the old classic fans, I think most of us can honestly agree that Resident Evil 2 was our very first Resident Evil game.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Faint. I believe he did get his name from the Resident Evil monster.
Yeah, I that's what I named my name off of. My YouTube channel is just called Nemesis, and I love the Tyrant. Nemesis was always my favorite Tyrant. My second Tyrant was the T102 Tyrant, which was from Resident Evil 1, from the original 1996, and I guess you could say the 2002 remake. One of the best Tyrants in the series, in my opinion.
Yes,
Scariest ones.
he does stream. Let me just post his link in the chat. There you go. That's his stream. Tell Isaac I said hello. Metal Gear says I was too scared at 8.
Oh yeah. I was terrified when I played Silent or well, especially Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but always the jump scares, and especially even to this very day, because I'm 28 years old, and just Nemesis jumping out at you because it's all unscripted. That's what I love about the original that the remake should have done, but that didn't happen. Uh, but that's the greatest thing about the original 1999 Resident Evil 3 is where Nemesis just jumps out wherever and he chases you throughout Raccoon City. And that's what I loved about it. It's all unscripted, and even to this very day, even when I know these jump scares happen, I know what to expect, but it still gets me. That's how good these games are. I mean, you got a game that came out like over 20 years ago that's in pixelated graphics that still, makes me jump.
Thanks for the lurk, Faint. He went to go follow you, but he's already following you.
Oh, who's that?
Faint Tomcat.
Faint Tomcat?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Faint Tomcat, for the follow, man.
Funky says Nemesis is the best monster in Silent Hill. Ooh,
It's Silent Hill. You
he's
mean
scared.
Resident Evil?
Hey
Oh,
kids.
if only that were true though. Like if Nemesis was in Silent Hill universe where you can't see him through the fog and he just ran at you. Oh my god, that'd be terrifying.
Hey
But I
vegan.
honestly that would only happen in like fanfics and stuff. If there's a fanfic out there, I'd love to read that.
That one bro says I just dropped a follow too. Hopefully we'll see you stream soon.
Yeah, I actually I might stream a little bit after this interview or sometime tomorrow because I stream a lot on my Twitch channel, like almost every other day if I don't have anything to do those days. But I usually stream on Twitch a lot, so you'll see me quite a bit.
Just let me know. I'll host you. Hey vegan. How are you?
I know I always see you, CV, on there. That's when I pop in and say, "Hey."
I'm always looking for people to raid after my streams, particularly uh horror or Resident Evil fans. Metal Gear says, did you think Resident Evil 3 remake was good? Also too short? Just right?
Oh, I can easily answer that. Yes, it was too short. It's a good game, but it needed more time to develop. The game was only in development for only a year, and it was very rushed. And the reason why it was $60 is because of Resistance. Without Resistance, that game is $30 at
Resistance.
best. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of cut content, and that was the problem with it. I think if because when you look at Resident Evil 2, the game was in development for almost 4 years because Dev One, and this is why I respect Dev One wholeheartedly. They actually gave us more than what we were asking for because for those of you who don't know, there was a beta version of Resident Evil 2 called Resident Evil 1.5, and they actually put stuff in one from 1.5 into the remake, like with the Elsa Walker costume, because Elsa Walker was originally Claire Redfield before they changed her in from Elsa Walker to Claire. Um, but they did add her costume in the remake. They also added in the shooting range, um, and even with Ada Wong's outfits, her trench coat, and sunglasses. That was actually an outfit that she wore in 1.5. That was the original concept uh, of Ada Wong before. So I did like that Dev One put that in there. It actually shocked me that they did that. But at the same time, I'm glad they did because I just kind of expected the costumes and stuff, but I was not expecting 1.5 references in the game. So I love that a lot. Um, but yeah, going back to RE3, it was heavily rushed. Resistance, that was just Capcom's excuse to make it a completed game, and I'm like, Capcom,
Thanks for the
that's
love.
it sucks. Like nobody. I mean, honestly, anybody in the chat watching this, like, do any of you play Resistance? Because I haven't seen anybody really play Resistance.
I
I think
think
that game.
Funky does.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't see a lot of people playing Resistance as much anymore. I'm like, I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, I think Resistance was an excuse to shut Outbreak fans up because everybody has been asking for an Outbreak remake, and I can understand if they don't remaster the game because I'm like they probably lost all the codes and stuff to remaster it. But there's no excuse that Capcom can't remake it under the RE engine. I'm like remaking it or and remaster it and are two different things. But I do believe that Resistance was just the excuse to shut them up, to shut Outbreak fans up, because
Yeah.
basically that's what Outbreak is. I mean, it's an online multiplayer that takes place in Raccoon City in certain areas. The only difference was, you're playing with Jill and just new characters instead of the Outbreak characters. But that's what Resistance is basically a watered down version of Outbreak.
Uh, Thanks for the follow, Fight Club, and welcome back, a really fat cat. Resistance is kind of like team based, kind of like Dead by Daylight in a way. Team based, survive, work together. I never played it. Oh my god, thank you so much, Funky, for the subs.
Funky with the subs.
Funky, funky. There was dirty talk going on in the chat.
Oh, there is. Oh man, yeah, I could see it. Yeah.
People don't take baths or showers. I mean,
Hey,
hey,
we all dirty sometimes.
this wow, this guy knows his stuff. Ah, I see what you did there. Because
Oh yeah, I mean,
Nemesis doesn't have a nose.
oh yeah, oh, I caught the joke. I didn't catch that for a second. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he did now.
At least he doesn't have to wear a mask on his full face. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't even have any ears, so I couldn't even put a mask on even if I wanted to.
Give Funky a shout out, cause he's our interview tomorrow. Thank you so much for the subs, Funky.
Thanks, Funky.
And thank you, Becky and Crazy and Voltron, for the points, the boost. Let me. Thanks for the boost. Oops.
We got a boost. Again, those are some features on my Twitch channel that I have no idea about, so if anybody wants to guide me on how that all works, please let me know.
It should be in your channel point stuff. You could always send me a screenshot and I'll take a look what you have.
Yeah, no problem.
You're a fat reindeer. Well, thanks again for that extra stuff. Oh, I was just reading Funky's comment.
Oh, okay. I'm actually really glad that my mic is actually working because yesterday it was having so many issues. So I was gonna use my headset mic, but I have this mic, which is a Blue Yeti mic, I always use this, but I had to use my headset yesterday, and it's not a bad mic, but I rather prefer this because it's kind of like a studio kind of mics where it has like better sound quality and everything. So
It sounds
um,
good.
yeah, and it also has a pop filter on it,
What
which
is it?
a pop filter.
No, I mean the mic. Sorry.
Oh, it's a Blue Yeti mic.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, one of the best mics that you can get if you really are like into if you really want a quality mic, definitely get a Blue Yeti. They're a little bit expensive, but they're worth the price.
Metal Gear asks, where do you see the Resident Evil series going, and where would you want it to go?
Okay, so a lot of people have been asking me this. Where I want the series to go is I want the series to. Okay, first, I want Leon out because he's like the poster boy of RE right now, and Leon honestly pisses me off. He's in everything at this point. He's like the Alice of RE, is what I like to call him. And I despise those movies, by the way. I hate them so much. But after Resident Evil 4, people kind of like took Leon and made him like the poster boy of RE, so he's like gonna be like in everything. So if Leon got killed in the series, I wouldn't really care. I would actually be happy about that, or at least retire. Regarding where I want to see the series go, I want the main characters that are still in the franchise, like Joe Valentine, definitely Chris. I'm pretty sure they're going to give Chris closure in Village because that's it looks like it's looking like that now. Um, but I honestly, I would want to see the characters in the main series like Ada Wong, Leon Kennedy, Rebecca Chambers, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, at least have closure because I want to see because I don't want their stories to like just be out in the open and all over the place, and Capcom doesn't want to give them closure for their stories. So I want to see them have closure and then retire from the series and then move on to new characters like Ethan and whoever they bring into the series next, because that's the main thing I want to see happen. And they're leaving out important details with the characters, like after the last time that we heard of Jill Valentine, she wrote a letter to Barry Burton saying, "Oh, she's ready to get back out there after she was going through the test and everything when she was injected with the P30 virus." And we didn't have that closure. And like I said, if she came back for at least 30 seconds in Village to just end the story arc, I wouldn't mind that. I just want to see it end with the main characters on a good note. It's either retire them or kill them off. Um, but that's where I kind of want the franchise to go because I don't want Capcom to rely on the old characters forever. I know a lot of people in the community are like, "Oh my god, it's not Resident Evil without Chris, Barry, Rebecca." And I'm like, "Well, you do realize that they are getting old, Like Chris is like 50 years old, Leon is in his late 40s, Jill is like 45 at this point.
Hmm.
Um, they're not at the same age forever, and that's what I loved about these games too because when you got characters growing up with you in the series, it takes a more realistic approach, and and that's what people need to understand. Like if you rely on the old characters forever, I'm like these are going to be like they're going to be like 80 years old, and I'm pretty sure nobody wants to play as an 80-year-old Joe Valentine or Chris. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's it just wouldn't be right. So I think they should end it where it is with the main characters before they actually start introducing new characters.
Yeah, they shouldn't
Um,
collect numbers then.
you know, it's just like I want them to retire because I love Jill, I love Chris. I don't love Leon as much as I did in the past. After 4, they kind of overdid it with him, so I kind of got sick and tired of Leon. But you know, bring in the characters one last time, or at least bring them back for like, let's just say if excuse me, um, let's just say if uh Chris Redfield dies in Village. You know, I would like to have a funeral with him. Unless also, I hope he dies as a heroic death. Like if Chris dies or any of the main characters die, it better be something heroic and meaningful. Because if it's just like a bullshit death where it just makes no sense just to kill him off, I'm gonna be mad about that. So I think the best way what Capcom should do is they should bring him back. Like if they kill Chris off, bring the main characters like Leon, Joe Valentine, Barry Burton just one final time,
Yeah.
because I kind of see the next game after Village. I do think it's going to time jump. I think it's going to time jump at least 10 or 20 years because
Yeah.
that's what Village did. Not 20 years, but it definitely time jumped 10 years because Chris was 41 and 6, and in this game he looks way older now.
Yeah.
So I do know that and also Ethan and Mia have a baby at this point.
Ew.
So
Wait. What if you chose Mia? Didn't choose Mia. That makes no
I'm sorry.
sense. What if you chose Zoe and not Mia?
What if
That,
I chose Zoe?
yeah, in the 7, does that not matter?
Not really. No. I didn't really. They didn't really. They're kind of like just side characters that Capcom just dispose of. I think the main focus was mostly Ethan and Mia. Um, I'm trying to give Ethan a chance here. I don't know if they're gonna kill him off in Village or whatever. Cause I heard that the entire game got spoiled, and I'm trying to stay away from spoilers as much as possible because I want to go into that game with an open mind. But if they do kill Ethan off, I honestly might be happy about that because the way they portrayed him as 7, I just didn't care. Um, so it's kind of hard for Capcom to really come up with new characters because I feel like they always have to rely on the old ones in order for the games to sell. I might be wrong, but that's kind of like how I see it, and that's why they're doing the remakes right now. Because when you look at Resident Evil 7, even though the game did financially well, it doesn't sell as well as the remakes. I'll put that out there right now. Um, but like I said, they're banking on nostalgia, and I think that's the best way that Capcom can make money right now. Because when they come up with like a new and creative idea, it either, I mean, in my opinion, it ends up sucking, or they just don't know where to go with it. Like one time gap with 6 is with Jake Moeller. When Albert Wesker died, they brought Jake Moeller in the game, and they were trying to set Jake Moeller up for a future sequel, and then Capcom has this weird, you know, habit of bringing in new characters, building them up, and then just completely forget about them like they never existed. And I think Jake Muller actually had a lot of potential in the series, but the way that Capcom handled him was garbage. I think he should have been the next villain, and he should have been the next Wesker because they're the same blood. And even though Jake said like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be my father," or anything like that. But that could all change, I'm like, he might try to stay away from becoming the bad guy, but he ends up becoming the bad guy in, a future game. And, I think they should have done that, and they were, but then they were like, yeah, screw it. We're just going to scrap all that. Just go ahead and make something completely new with RE7. Because originally, Jake Moeller and Albert Wesker was actually supposed to come back in 7. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but that was the original idea for 7. It wasn't supposed to be like how it is now. Jake Muller was supposed to come back in 7, and then Albert Wesker was supposed to return, and then they were supposed to fight. And then Capcom, I guess, completely scrapped that idea, and it never happened.
1 sec, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, I just want to catch up on chat real quick. Thank you so much, Scal, for the cheer. He says that, holy shite, I've been subscribed to this guy for years. CV, bringing in the heavy hitters. This is awesome. And I imagine you're talking about YouTube. That is
Oh,
awesome.
is this an old viewer of mine?
Yes, Scal.
Oh,
Yes,
Skell, were you a different username on YouTube? I mean, you were I don't know if when you were on the channel, was it like back in like when I was making anime videos, or like was it around the time I started making Resident Evil content?
I imagine Resident Evil. Yes, Funky, that is the mic I'm using. Um, Before I ask more questions, I just want to see any other comments.
I gotta say something about a Fat Cat. Resident Evil 7 is good. It's a great survival horror game. It's just not it doesn't have like the elements of what Resident Evil represented, like good story and character development. great horror aspect, great horror experience, but that's what they kind of lacked for 7 was story and character development. It just the writing for it was utter garbage in my opinion, but
A really fat cat also asks for your personal favorite Resident Evil game.
the RE1 remake, all-time favorite.
Me too.
Love that game. It's everything what I think it's what every I think that's what Resident Evil 2 should have been. And 3, but I can understand a lot of people not liking, and a lot of old school fans like myself want the fixed camera angles back. And I've always said to people, I'm like, with the first person perspective, a lot of people in the community do have a problem with that camera angle. And I've always said that the RE engine, Capcom has proven that the RE engine can produce like most of the camera angles. Like they actually had fixed camera angles in the beta version of RE2. I don't know if you guys saw the making of the RE2 game, but there's concepts and like behind the scenes stuff. You can see like the beta versions on YouTube, but they actually try to emulate the fixed camera angles. Like there's one shot where Leon is walking down the RPD hallway with a flashlight, and it's on fixed camera angles. Capcom did try, and I'll give them that. They actually tried uh, putting in fixed camera angles, but at that time, I guess the RE engine wasn't capable enough to really program it right into it. Which is fine because I like the over the shoulder stuff too. Even though I'm an old classic gamer and I do like the fixed camera angles, I don't mind over the shoulder. The problem with like RE and just any Capcom game in general, since the RE engine can prove that they can do more than one camera angle, there's no excuse why Capcom can't make it an optional thing. Because you got games like Devil May Cry 5 and then RE2 and 3, which is over the shoulder, and then you got Resident Evil 7 and 8, which is first person. So I don't see why Capcom can't do that. But again, I do know why they're not doing it because they're being lazy about it.
Yeah,
It's just
option
pure
would be
laziness.
pretty cool.
They can do it. I mean, it is possible for these games to have optional camera angles, but they just don't want to put in the extra work to make that happen. But it is possible because the RE engine has done that already for what, 5 games?
The whole first person does make me care less for Ethan.
Yeah, I always like I'm the type of guy who with Resident Evil, that's what I love about it because I want to put myself in the character's shoes, but I actually want to know who I'm looking at on screen, to have that more of a connection with the character because just having like arms and legs on screen, it just takes away the experience because I'm like nobody knows what Ethan's face looks like. Now if they had like I hope they're doing this for Village, but when I looked at the trailers, it looked like the game could be like first person. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the game Dark Side Chronicles, where the game was first person, but in the cutscenes it had third person, where you get to see your own character and who you're playing as. If they do something like that for Village, I'll be like, okay, that's what I would like to see, because I'm like, Ethan might be in first person, but then when if he's talking to Chris or something like that, we see both of them on screen interacting with one another. If they go with that idea, then okay, that's what they should do. If they're doing the first person perspective, I'm like, I don't want Chris talking to like a pair of hands and arms. I actually want to see Ethan talking to Chris or any of the other main characters in like the cutscenes. Gameplay wise, have it first person. Cutscene wise, I want to see the character on screen. You know,
Scal says, any plans to finish the Resident Evil Underworld audiobook?
that has been requested a lot. I'm trying to make that happen. There's just been a lot of stuff on my plate. I know I haven't made a new chapter because my original idea, what I want to do is I'm just going to say screw it. And I'm not going to release it one chapter at a time because it takes like too much time. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to, I think I'm at chapter 11 right now. And I think there's like 22 chapters. My plan is to get the rest of it done, but it's going to take a lot of time because Village stuff is coming out, and then I'm going to be having content talking about like Infinite Darkness. So my hands are going to be kind of full for content, but I'm going to try to make that happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do uh, chapter 12 all the way to the end to the epilogue, and just say screw it. So that way I can just release it all in one video. It's probably going to be like 2 hours long, but that's what I want to do to try to make it easier instead of releasing it by chapters.
Um, a really fat cat asks, how long do you think Capcom can keep Resident Evil around until people just get over the series, so to speak?
Honestly, I wanted the franchise, I wanted the main story to end after 5 because I don't really see it going anywhere. It didn't really go anywhere after 5. They were just kind of like making up stuff as it went along. Um, Regarding spin-offs, they can keep that going, but I think they should honestly, if you ask me, I think they should end it at Village with the main story, and then every other Resident Evil game should be just spin-offs in the Resident Evil universe because they honestly are just going nowhere with the main story. Like I said, they're just kind of making stuff up at this point. But there's a lot that they can do, like having an Albert Wesker solo game, Ada Wong solo game, Jake Moeller. I would like to see more of him, especially because there's a lot of characters in the Resident Evil games. Like you got the Revelations games, that Capcom are not using, and they're just kind of wasting because you got a whole universe of characters. Capcom, like, what are you doing? But there's
Yeah.
so much potential that they can do with these characters. Like, Jessica Sherwood from Revelations 1. I saw her as the next villain. She might not be the next Albert Wesker, but she can be a villain in the Resident Evil universe. There's a lot of spin-off games that they can make with the Revelations characters. They can bring back the Outbreak characters. I know Kevin Rayman is a popular one, especially Billy Cohen. And I did actually make a video about Billy Cohen about why he can't return to the series. Um, and I believe me, I want Billy Cohen to come back too, but it's not possible to bring him back at this point because there's no actual evidence uh, of his innocence. Because he was framed about killing 23 people in Africa, and his whole team killed people in Africa and framed Billy. And unless they remake Resident Evil Zero, and then Rebecca Chambers actually shows her former Stars member, like if she has like paperwork or actual evidence proving Billy's innocence, I could see that way he can come back. But as as of right now, Billy can't come back. Um, there's just no evidence to prove to like the government or Stars or anything, that Billy is innocent, which he is, but there's nothing to prove that. So I don't. That's kind of the hardest thing to the hardest challenge that Capcom uh, needs to do with Billy, but it's honestly impossible at this point. Unless they remake Zero or they make a spin-off of Billy Cohen like right after Zero happened. But I would say like more of a DLC, but Resident Evil Zero is like a very old game, so I don't see them creating additional content for Zero. It just wouldn't make sense to me. They would do that if they remade the game, but other than that, how can Billy come back? Maybe they'll make a game of him like 40 years later in like the mountains or something like that. But I don't really see Billy Cohen coming back.
Uh, we have a couple questions in chat
Yeah.
and comments. Uh, First of all, Metal Gear and a really fat cat and myself agree with you, uh, and your several points you made. Um, Scal wrote, "Yeah, I've been subscribed um on YouTube for several years. You will
Oh, thank
contact
you.
your voiceover stuff is great.
I'm actually trying to do more
Come,
voiceovers in the
come.
future because I know a lot of people like my narrations. So I want to bring some of those back as well.
Um, uh, PSN asks, have you guys tried Resident Evil 7 in VR?
Yes, I have,
And
and I I I would tell the story, but I don't really want to get like too Gross.
I probably played the first 10 minutes. I think everyone should at least try VR once. It is an experience, but like it is pretty expensive and pretty inconvenient with all the PlayStation wires and stuff.
Yeah, it's I don't have a PS4 VR anymore, but back that when Resident Evil 7 first came out in 2017, I first played it on my TV, and then I got a VR headset later on, and then I tried it. And I will say, I don't know about UCV, but when I played I think the kitchen demo was way more scarier than the actual game, to be honest with you, in VR.
I don't think I got that far. I don't remember.
Yeah, I can. Oh god, I had a disturbing moment with Marguerite. I don't. I don't
I
know if I should say it in
imagine
this stream, but it's like it's very disturbing, but yet kind of disgusting.
it was
It,
it was disturbing as is.
well, I mean, if I tell you the story, it's not like scary disturbing. It's like what the hell disturbing. Like I cannot believe that happened. I need to bleach my eyes disturbing because when I saw it in VR, I just got grossed out. I was like, nope. Gave me nightmares for about 3 weeks, and if those of you who were in the chat who were following me on YouTube a while ago, I'm pretty sure you remember that story. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Funk knows. I guess that person knows. It was nightmare fuel. Oh my god.
Gross. She is disturbing.
It's like yeah, seeing that in VR just land on you. Oh my god. It's like nope, never again.
Um, Skell also asked, do you think we see a Code Veronica remake in the next few years?
I want to say yes, but I highly doubt that. Unless Capcom are going to be showing that at on the 21st, because we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff regarding. We're going to see new gameplay with Village. We're going to see a brand new trailer. Uh, for those of you who have me on YouTube,
Wait, what
I'm going to
time
be
is that?
making a lot of videos regarding Village, and hopefully we get more of Infinite Darkness because we don't really know anything about that yet. Um, and hopefully we get to know more about the Resident Evil reboots, which I actually am looking forward to that. But
2 p.m.
I hope we get Code Veronica eventually, including Dino Crisis, because everybody wants those two games the most.
Well, there was a few leaks, but I don't remember seeing that on the list. But I would love to have Code Veronica remake
I know Resident Evil 4 is set to be
for
out
sure.
on 2022. I guess that's what the leak said.
Yeah,
If we get a trailer of that,
I think that
I
was
mean,
more than a leak, though, right? That was confirmed, right?
well, I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but it is rumored. But apparently, that's what was in the leak. I know they were saying that there was a Resident Evil 4 VR. I don't know what that was about. But apparently, we're getting like a VR version of RE4. I don't think it's the remake or anything like that. I think it's just like a side project that you can experience in VR with 4.
That would
But
be
I think
lame.
that
I'm just kidding.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that. But I think they were saying we're gonna get like a release. The release date is 2022 for 4. So if we actually get a trailer of that on the 21st at the Resident Evil events, I wouldn't be surprised. Um, but I don't really have a lot of excitement for RE4 because the only way that I probably would get RE4 remake is if they made a remake of Resident Evil 3.5. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of 3.5, but that was you actually can go look it up on YouTube, but it was a fixed camera kind of psychological Silent Hillish game, and that was the original concept that Shinji Mikami was going to go with, but then that was scrapped later on. and turned into what it is now. So that's the only way I would really be excited for RE4 remake is if they did remake 3.5. I did like the spooky atmosphere. I did like the Hookman. I did like the creepy dolls. I know it doesn't really bother me that everybody was saying it was too Silent Hillish, and I'm like, I would rather take that than what we got. It was more Resident Evil to me because I'm like, it was more of the survival horror RE1 remake kind of vibe
Yeah.
with a little psychological Silent Hillish uh, aspects of it. But I would rather take that over the final product because Ashley Graham, again, I hate her so much. And if they took, I want Leon to be a solo character again. If they made Leon a solo character and then they changed the story and took Ashley Graham out of the remake and just focused on the progenitor virus storyline, what they were going for 3.5, then I'll consider it. But if it's just going to be a retelling of the four that we got, uh, then I'm not really interested. I don't want to see another Ashley Graham on screen because I'm just going to hate the game more. Um, I
I,
think what they should do to her is make her more intelligent and carry a weapon this time. But even if they do that, I still really wouldn't care for the remake. If Ashley Graham's a part of it, it's a no go for me. If they make it a remake of 3.5 with the Hookman and add the elements of what they were going with originally for 3.5, then yeah, count me in.
well,
I would love that.
I'm just gonna assume they're not gonna do a copy and paste because they didn't for the last two remakes. They made like totally different.
And that's the interesting thing because that's what Capcom was originally known for, is copy and pasting things.
But
But
every
well, the thing that I'm worried about is if they give it to the wrong team. If M2, I'll tell you this: if M2 are the ones responsible for making the RE4 remake, it's gonna suck. Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna be cut content. Two words. I'm always gonna say if M2 is a part of that project, cut content. We're not gonna see really any scenarios with Krauser, Ada Wong, and Leon are probably gonna have like two scenes and that's it. That are gonna be like 1 minute at best. Uh, they're definitely gonna they're definitely gonna cut out the regenerators. They're definitely gonna cut out the Garroters. We're not gonna see any of that. I guarantee you.
um, a really fat cat says maybe have the Revelation games be more experimental, like Rev 3 be the conclusion of Jill's story and be with it being survival horror, but also having several elements in the story and gameplay and psychological horror. And I did see on Reddit there was a rumor about that Rev 3 and Rebecca in it.
Yeah, I saw that too. If they bring Rebecca Chambers back, that's cool. But I would really like to see a game with Rebecca, Jill, and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be more better. I think if Jill comes back, two ways that I would love to see Jill come back. If they're not going to bring her back in future sequels, um, bring her back in either the spin-off games or if she doesn't come back in the games at all, just have her appear one last time in the next CGI film and then just give her closure in that, and then we can call it a day. You know?
Yeah, I agree. They need to it don't bring new characters and slap on an extra number on it. Make it its
Yeah,
own.
yeah. Because like I said, Capcom are they're lost when it comes to making these games. Like 7 and 8, I'm just predicting it. Like I said earlier, like I think 8 is going to be the same thing as 7. It's going to be a great survival
Horror game.
horror
Yeah.
game, but as a Resident Evil game, it's going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're trying. I'll give them this. At least we are getting Chris Redfield back, so we actually are getting some originality to it. Um, I just hope they treat Chris right in this game. If they kill him off like disrespectfully, um, in a disrespectful way, then
This sucks.
it's gonna it's probably gonna piss a lot of it's going to piss a lot of fans off because trust me when I say I want Chris to die in the franchise, but I want him to go out as a like possibly a sacrifice, some heroic death, something that actually means something in the end. If he's gonna go out like that, you know. Like if they have Ethan kill Chris, it's going to be undeserving and it's going to piss a lot of people off. So I think two things: that either he sacrifices himself, some heroic death as a respectful death, or have either Jill or Claire kill him. Because I think Jill or Claire killing Chris, if he did ever become the bad guy, because he was originally going to be the bad guy in Revelations 1. It was actually in the teaser trailer, but then Capcom scrapped that idea. But originally, Chris was actually supposed to be the bad guy. He was actually supposed to betray Jill. So if the whole rumors of people saying that Chris was going to be the bad guy for 8 was going to happen, it would make more sense if they went with that storyline in Rev 1, but they didn't. So Chris being a bad guy wouldn't make any sense at this point. So, um, but yeah, that was the interesting concept of that. I mean, I would rather, it would have been interesting to see that way if Chris did become the bad guy, and let's say something did happen inside of his head, or he was like controlled or something, and then it would be a perfect way to bring Jill Valentine back, and then kill him. You know, before he actually turns completely bad, just kind of like sacrificing himself. But it would just be more emotional. I mean, I would like to see it like that. Um, but since they haven't brought Joe back, that can't happen. So it's honestly kind of difficult to say where Capcom are going to go for from here till whenever the hell they end the series in the next like 10-20 years. I don't know. But I think at this point, I think the old characters that we grew up with in the 90s and the early 2000s, like the nostalgic fans, I think we should say goodbye to them one final time. I think Capcom should just end the storyline with them, and then bring in new characters that new school fans and old school fans are going to love. And if they kind of give both sides of the fan base good character development with the new characters from here till whenever, um, I'll be happy about that, because I think that's what Capcom needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
They can't rely on the old classic characters forever. It's just they just can't. You got to have some originality. You got to have something new, especially to modern day fans, because now that more and more people are finding out about the franchise, and more and more people will find out in the next 10, 15, 20 years from now. um, I want them to look back on it and appreciate what the old classic characters did, and then that would get them to go back to the classics as well. And also, I want modern day fans to have the same feeling that we old school fans did with the old classic characters with the new characters. And I want Capcom to have that build up with the characters. I want to see like the next Jill, I want to see the next Barry, the next Wesker. Like, but in order for Capcom to do that, you know you have to come up with some good ideas. You gotta It's going to be challenging for Capcom to do, and I just don't know where they can go, because where the new titles are heading, it's just, I think they should have been its own IP.
Mm-hmm.
um but I think they need a better creative team to actually know what they're doing in order to move forward in the franchise, to actually connect it properly, because right now they don't really have a team that actually knows what they're doing when it comes to like creating new games in the franchise. Like, if this was its own IP, then cool, but they're just missing the biggest points, what started the franchise, like where it should be, and how it developed the old classic characters into developing new characters. They're just leaving a lot of stuff out in the franchise, and that's where I say Capcom needs to get a team to to uh to have it continue in the right direction, because they have just no idea where they're going with it.
Um, a really fat cat says, um, that they should take time in between. I agree. They should take some breaks and work on their current list. Like, I should think they should take their time.
I think honestly, when it comes to spin-offs, like the Revelations games and other spin-offs in the future, in my opinion, I think Capcom should just leave the main games, like the main storyline, to the classic fans to continue it in their perspective, and then make the spin-offs for modern day fans as a like a brand new thing, you know?
They
That
should,
way,
but I feel like it's gonna be the opposite.
yeah,
I mean, the
it's
Tomb Raider community does that, so.
I mean, at least it would give because I think Resident Evil 7 should have been a spin-off instead of like a direct sequel off 6. Um, and that's what they should have done. If 7 and 8 are just its own spin-offs and not connected to the main storyline after 6, then it would have been perfect. But they kind of messed it up by calling it Resident Evil 7 because it had no connection to 6 because usually with Resident Evil games, they usually have uh, an intro explaining the last game, like they did the same Veronica. At least we got like what happened in the last game going into the new. And if they would have done that with 7, I would say like, okay, they know how to connect it, but there was no prologue or anything explaining what happened to the previous events of 6 going into 7 to make it like connected. It was just kind of like its own game at that point. So I don't really see it like Capcom said it takes place 3 years after 6, but how? You know, I
Mm.
mean, unless you can explain that in a cutscene or a prologue, like you did with 4, 5, and 6, and Code Veronica and in every game before that, then okay, I believe you, but you still have yet to confirm that, so it's not really a direct sequel, whether it's called Resident Evil 7 or not. I think it's just its own game,
It,
its own spin off.
7 is a good horror game.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
So, yeah.
Great survival horror
I
game,
think they'll
shitty Resident
learn
Evil game.
soon. They'll learn.
Let's hope that I hope M2 is not making Village. I mean, I can't really say anything bad about the new games because it's its own story. So they're it's not like a remake or anything. So this is kind of like a new and creative idea that they're going with. So I can't say anything bad yet until I play the game myself. But when it comes to remakes, after Resident Evil 2, I think they really went downhill after 3 because when they started cutting the content out, I mean, I'm kind of worried if they do remake Code Veronica, that's where it's going to go. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff cut out of Code Veronica. Same thing with 4. So
Mm-hmm.
if M2 takes it, if it goes back to Dev 1, then then it's going to be good because Dev 1 knows what they're doing. M2 does not.
They would definitely cut out a lot because, you know, things that were like back then, it's just wouldn't work in modern, you know? Like,
Yeah,
that the badass chick or Steve, I'm sorry, his character probably would not survive in a
they
modern
can make
game.
Steve a badass. It's just like they can,
Yeah, they
just
would
like they
have
did
to
with
change him.
Carlos. You know,
That's
like they
true.
did the same thing with Carlos. Like Carlos was kind of silly, had the accent and all that. So they made Carlos more of a badass in remake in the RE3 remake. So they could definitely do Steve better than what he did instead of making Steve like a little bitch. To be honest with you, because
And
he
then Claire got soft.
yeah, Claire
I
got.
did
So
not
I
like
didn't like
that.
Steve because he was just a whiny little bitch in Code Veronica. So I kind of, if they do remake Code Veronica, I would want to see Steve like how he was in Dark Side Chronicles because Steve took a more serious approach in Dark Side Chronicles. So if they take that approach with Steve Burnside in a Code Veronica remake, I'll be like, okay, that would be that would work more. You know, it'd make more sense.
Well, we'll get more news on the, what was it, the 21st?
Yeah, the
At
21st.
2 p.m. Pacific time. So I
Yep.
won't be able to stream it, but I could, like, maybe watch highlights with you guys. Or if that's allowed, I don't know, I have to look it up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll learn a lot at that time.
Yep. Hopefully we'll see more. Hopefully we'll see more of Infinite Darkness and all that because I'm really excited for that show. I hope Jill comes back in that show.
The Evil Within is Bethesda. But
Yeah,
I do love Evil Within. Speaking
yes,
of,
they need to make a third one.
I still need to finish the second one. Speaking of Bethesda, they're making an Indiana Jones game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Looks kind of cool.
I don't think it's not Tango GameWorks who are making it because Tango GameWorks are the people who made Evil Within 1 and 2. Um, and I know Shinji Mikami's working on a new game called Ghostwire Tokyo, and I'm still waiting to see more of that because
Ooh,
it's been an entire year, so we haven't really gotten much of Ghostwire Tokyo yet.
it
So,
does. I remember it does look great, or at
but
least
if
I
they
thought it did.
do, I mean, if they do have E3, which I'm hearing they're gonna have like a stream, they're gonna stream E3 because of Corona and all that.
Yeah.
Um, but I heard E3 is going to be happening this year. So it's going to be online this time, just like they did with Game Awards. Um, so we might see more of Ghostwire there, but we're definitely, if we don't see anything of RE4 uh, on the 21st at the Resident Evil event, we'll definitely be seeing something of RE4 at E3.
Yeah, I feel like they're just gonna focus on what they currently are working on before they go, talk about
Yeah,
the future. Because then they have a lot of we have a lot. What I'm trying to say it's a great time to be a Resident Evil fan, not just for the games, but for TV shows and the movies, I believe.
yeah.
So yeah, lots of things going on with the Resident Evil universe or world.
Give me 1 sec, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay. If I miss any comments, guys, just let me know. If you guys don't know Nemesis, he is relatively new to Twitch. I found him because I rated him playing Resident Evil 4 while I was playing Resident Evil 4. Um, he is obviously he's pretty knowledgeable in the series, and you should, if you like him, you should check out his Twitch and his YouTube channel. He has like a big following on the YouTube. And he mentioned he had experience talking to the voice actors, which I forgot to tell him about. The girl Spice Chick, who I interviewed a few days ago, she was rated by the current voice actors of Jill and no, not Jill. Was it Jill or Claire? I can't remember. And then Carlos. Maybe it was Jill. That'd make more sense. Yeah. Yeah, it had to be. Okay. But yeah, I love Evil Within. I'm thinking maybe next month I'll work towards those platinums for Evil Within. I eventually want to get into Silent Hill series on stream. But yeah, I want to finish Resident Evil 2 this month of Revelations, and I want to play what was it, Raccoon City or Outbreak? I can't remember which one I wanted to try, but it's a spin-off game. One try. Maybe it was up. No, it might have been Operation. I can't remember. It was Jill and Leon. Okay. Why did I think Carlos? Okay. Thank you, really, Packet. Yeah, she's pretty cool. Everybody I interviewed this week is pretty cool. Learned a lot. Uh, made friends. It was a good experience, for sure. Um, Tomorrow's our last scheduled interview with Funky. Any future interviews or collabs will be more sporadic, not back to back. Cause I have a huge backlog I want to get to. Make a heart. We probably won't get to too many interview questions today. I'll probably just ask basic stuff, like about his stream and his interest in the horror genre. But yeah, we got Resident Evil CGI, we got live action series, we got movies, we got games. So many games planned. At least 5 I saw on that leak list. If it's real. Only a couple of them sound familiar. The rest are like brand new. It sound like I don't know. I could be wrong. Every time you see Nemesis, you just hear stars. It looks like he's smiling. You hear roar. He is definitely passionate about this series. If you're also passionate about this series, you should give him a follow, because I'm sure he'd love to talk to you about the series. Even though I played the majority of the games, I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable or analytical or opinionated. Those leaks happened because of ransomware attack Capcom that suffered several months ago. Yeah, it's really sad. They worked so hard, you know. It's really sad. Opinionated? What's that? Your brain don't work. Welcome to the streamer world. A lot of us have streamer brains where they go dead a lot. Yeah, so Saturday, I'm thinking I don't know what I'll play Saturday. I'm thinking just to chill. I kind of want to play Forest on Saturday, and then I feel like even though we streamed every single day this week with the interviews, I kind of feel like we didn't stream. I have it on PlayStation. Do you have it on PlayStation? I feel like I didn't stream this week, so maybe I won't take time off this week. I don't know. We'll see. It might be a busy weekend for me because I really want to touch up my hair and rearrange my stream space in addition to streaming. Um yeah. And I really want to get back to Resident Evil Revelations. We'll probably do that Tuesday and play it throughout the week. And then when does the 28th? That's actually, we have some time before the 28th. But 2 horror games come out that day that I'm 100% getting. Devour and Medium. I'll probably play Medium first just because I'm pretty sure it's more optimized for stream. I don't even know if Devour is going to be optimized. The last time I played it indie game, what I tried to, it was not optimized for stream or OBS in general, so that was a flop. It hurt my feels because apparently it was like similar to Resident Evil, and it has my favorite gaming elements in it: exploration, combat, and puzzles. You stabbed your PS4? Why? If Nemesis doesn't like M2's Resident Evil work, he's not gonna like 4 Remake. Rumor is that M2 is developing 4 Remake. Oh, okay. I think he's still AFK. PS4 didn't turn on? Oh, that sucks. PC Master Race, eh?
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks.
No problem. I'll probably skip a lot of personality questions and
yeah, no problem.
just ask like
Ask away.
do you have any interests and hobbies outside of gaming / streaming?
Uh, I just like going outdoors, you know, taking walks, going for runs. I try to stay physical. Um, I know there's not really a lot to do nowadays because, you know,
Yeah.
of Corona. So when I'm not gaming, I try to go for a lot of walks and just kind of just go outdoors and all that stuff. But um, other than that, not really. just uh, just video games and stuff, and a lot of Resident Evil. I do sometimes have I have the Resident Evil mangas that I'm actually
Ooh.
trying to get into. So for those of you who actually haven't heard of them, I actually own the Marhara. I think that's what you call it, the Mahara uh, mangas, and they're kind of like spin-offs of like Resident Evil 5 and 6. Um, so I'm kind of getting back into those. And then also I got to catch up on the S.T. Perry novels because I have all the S.T. Perry novels. I just haven't gotten a chance to read all of them yet. So I'm trying to read more of like the Code Veronica one. Definitely going back to the Nemesis one. I did read some of Zero Hour. I haven't got to read all of that yet. So, but there's a lot of stuff that I got to catch up on regarding the mangas and books. And then I'm gonna be getting the manga of Infinite Darkness because I know Capcom are going to be releasing a I can, I can never say the name uh, the manga of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is supposed to take place. It's supposed to be a side story going into the show, so they're going to be releasing that sometime this year, before the show comes out. So I want to see. It'd be interesting to see where it starts before the show starts. So I'm definitely looking forward to that whenever Capcom decide to release that. Hopefully, we'll reveal more on the 21st at the Resident Evil event.
For sure.
Have uh have you read any of the books, CV, or
No, I haven't. I heard they're really good. I know when I used to play games with the Resident Evil series growing up with my sisters, and I know my twin actually read the books. Thanks for the follow, Mizina. Me, no, Ms. Nia. Ms. Nia.
Ms. Nia? Ms. Nia, welcome to the stream.
PSN wants to avoid horror games. That's what streamers are for, right?
I'm definitely my anticipated game for 2021 so far is definitely the Medium. I don't know if I had said this earlier, but the composer that did
Silent
the
Hill.
music for the Medium is the same composer who did the Silent Hill games.
That's probably why it has the vibes.
Oh yeah, I mean it's man. When I heard that, I was like, I'm all for it because
Yeah.
uh, they're a really good composer. I can't remember how to say their name correctly.
Oh,
Um,
I don't remember either,
yeah,
but
it's a
growing up,
very hard
I
name.
would listen to that soundtrack over and over and over. It's just so good.
Oh yeah, the original Silent Hill soundtrack,
The
especially
first two.
the first two are good. I like threes. I like all three soundtracks, but I think Silent Hill 2 soundtrack is probably the most memorable.
It's the only memorable thing about the movies is the soundtracks.
That's the thing I had an issue with the movies. Well, not the music or anything. I loved the first movie. I think Silent Hill 2006 was definitely the greatest. I think it's the best video game adaptation film ever made. Um, it just stuck to the source material. Christopher Gans, who is the director of that film, he knows about the games, which it was a huge plus. And I don't know if you heard about this, but there is a third film in the works right now. And Christopher Gans, who did Silent Hill 2006, is actually coming back for this one, which I'm so excited for. I don't know if it's going to be a reboot or a direct sequel off Revelations. I don't know if they're going to
Hmm.
finish Harry's story. But I heard that it's going to be. I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but they were saying that supposedly the new film is going to be like a reboot of Revelation. It's going to be like a better version of three because Revelation was trying to did a shitty job at making uh, Silent Hill 3 in a film, and that's what they were going for with Revelation. So I think Christopher Gans was saying that that his movie is going to be a proper like the right adaptation of Silent Hill 3. It's going to be a good version of Silent Hill 3, not like what we got in Revelations. Is that's like a watered down, crappy version of 3. So he's going to make his own reboot of 3. Um, I would like to see Silent Hill 2 in a film because, since it's like the scariest Silent Hill game in the franchise, I think they should do that. Um, if they're not going to continue it off Revelations and they're just going to reboot it, just I wouldn't mind having like a both uh, Cheryl and James in the film, and then have Silent Hill 2 and 3 together. Because you know how some movies actually tell one person's perspective and then it switches over to the other person in the
Yeah.
same film. If they do something like that, that'd be cool. If they kind of mix it up with the characters, with the actors,
Yeah.
different scenarios, I guess. Uh, let's say Cheryl goes in Silent Hill first, and Harry uh, or James goes in first, and then later on, like in the second half of the film, that it's telling Cheryl's point of view.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say like have them meet or anything. I would say like have it take place in different areas of Silent Hill, but the characters like Heather and James don't meet. If they did something like that, that'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see how the third film goes.
Yeah. Hopefully it goes well.
I have faith in Christopher Gans because I mean, since he's the one who was responsible to make Silent Hill 2006, I have no doubt in my mind that his new movie, his new Silent Hill film, is gonna be another Revelations. It's just not possible. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's a huge fan of the series, so he knows more about the material than the other people that made the second film.
Yeah. Um. So earlier you mentioned that you started playing Resident Evil when you were 8 years old. Is that
Yep.
when you started being a gamer in general? Is that your first game?
Actually, yes. Yes, it is. The PS1 was actually my first original console. Resident Evil 2 was my very first game. And then Resident Evil 3, and then Dino Crisis, and then up until Code Veronica, and here I am.
You said your favorite game was Resident Evil 2. Would you say that's your ultimate favorite game though?
No, my all-time favorite, if you're talking about Resident Evil, my all-time favorite Resident Evil game of all time is the RE1 remake.
Oh yeah, sorry. But I
Mhm.
mean like yeah, sorry about that. Yes,
Oh,
you
sorry.
did say that cuz I was like, "Oh, me too." But
Resident Evil 2 is my second favorite. I like
maybe
the remake, but the original is my second favorite of
you
the series.
said Resident Evil 2 was your first game, right?
Yes, it was
Okay,
my first
that
game that I played on
yeah,
the
I got it mixed
PlayStation.
up.
My favorite Resident Evil game was the remake, but Resident Evil 2 was my first Resident Evil game that I've ever played.
But all-time favorite game, it could be outside of Resident Evil. Do you have an all-time favorite?
Silent Hill.
The first one?
Second.
Oh, it's a
Second
good
all time
choice.
favorite Silent Hill 3. It's kind of my list for Silent Hill goes 2, 1, 3, and then 4.
Um, so do you think you got into the horror genre because of Resident Evil?
Yes. Yep.
And
After when I played RE2 and Dino Crisis, that's what really took me off with the survival horror
yeah,
aspect, and I just loved uh, psychological horror film or horror games. And then after when Silent Hill came out, that's when I really got into psychological horror. Like horror aspect, Resident Evil was the first game that I got into when it came to horror, and that's what really got me into the horror aspect of things. But Silent Hill got me into the psychological horror aspect of things of
yeah,
games.
yeah. I think they kind of set the bar in a way,
Hmm.
or paved the way. I don't know how to say it. Well,
Games were my childhood.
um,
Started it all. Started it all for me.
outside of movies based on games, do you have any favorite horror movies?
Favorite horror Oh wow. I never really thought about horror films. I would say Silent Hill 2006, but outside of Resident Evil and Silent Hill, think for a second. It's actually a tough one. I do actually no, that is a tough one. um, I definitely like The Conjuring. Um, Insidious was an interesting one too. Um, it's honestly really hard. it's a to answer that question really.
Y-
Um, I think those are some of them. I can't remember that one film. I think it was by James Wan. Uh, I know The Conjuring was one, but I'm thinking about that. Insidious. No, not Insidious. Sinister. Sinister was a really scary one.
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh man, you're missing out.
PSN. Okay.
Sinister had a lot of jump scares. It had a lot of jump scares, but it I think in the modern day era of horror films, I think Sinister kind of takes the cake. It has a very creepy story. You got this guy figuring out this like that happened the murder of these kids, and then all this weird stuff starts happening with this guy. It's there's a lot. It gets you every time. It has it's not one of those films that has cheap jump scares where you expect it to happen. But it has really good jump scares. So it's not they don't like over because you know how like in horror films they like overdo the jump scares and you're just so tired of it where it's just
Mhm.
like you know what to expect.
Yeah.
In Sinister, they don't do that. They actually have a good amount of jump scares, but it's not like over the top or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it doesn't get like really annoying throughout. So that's what makes it so good. And a lot of films don't really do that nowadays, but Sinister is one of those films where you can go back and watch it multiple times and you might not expect when the jump scares happen, but when you do, they still get you, but in a good way, not in like a, oh, this is, oh, here comes another jump scare kind of,
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Jolly. Oh, Shaun of the Dead's a good one, PSN. At
oh,
least I
Shaun of the
like it.
Dead was good.
Yeah, that was funny. It was funny. Outside of Silent Hill and Resident Evil, do you have any favorite horror games? And of course, Dino Crisis don't count either, because they're all
No, okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm excited for the medium. Probably gonna like that game. Uh, what other horror games? I was gonna say Manhunt, but that's not really a horror game. Um,
Do you like
hmm.
indie horror games?
Indie horror, yes. Well, that's what the medium is. It's actually
Yeah.
an indie horror game. So, I actually like indie games more than big budget games. And the sad thing is, I was telling a buddy of mine this a little while ago, but it's kind of sad that you see like companies like Capcom having like such a big budget and making horror games, but yet somehow out of a huge budget of these games, they can't really make it scary, but yet you have indie companies who have a smaller budget, have a lesser staff, can make better stuff than these high budget corporations can. I don't get I never got that logic. I don't understand like how can an indie company be better at making horror games than a billion-dollar company that has like 800 staff members on it. It's just
Yeah.
it makes no sense. Well, well actually I think I know
I
why,
think this.
because it's
Okay.
because of the greed, I think. Like because with indie companies, I think they're more focused on like creativity instead of profit.
And
And that's
story.
why yeah, and that's why these companies like Capcom and Konami kind of lost their shtick, I
They
guess you could say. They
they go
lost
where the
their
money is.
yeah, they just follow the trends and all that, and that's what kind of kills their products.
Oh, that's
But
true, Jesswell. He says indie companies can take a risk. The billion-dollar companies is a business first, and then they stick to with what works and what makes money.
well, see, the way Capcom does it, it doesn't really make them a lot of money because they actually lose money for making shitty ideas. um I don't know, like I think if Capcom moves forward in a good way, they need to. I think they need to stop focusing on how much the game makes and actually focus on the creativity and actually listening to like what fans really want. And that's what these indie companies are doing. That's why their games are so good because they don't really ask for money from the fan. They say, hey, if the game does well, here you go, enjoy. If you like it, then awesome. Give us their feedback. They're not greedy, is what I'm trying to say. They're not focused on being greedy. They actually care about their products, and that's why, you know, companies like Capcom and Konami have all these IPs that they don't want to use, and they just don't want to take that risk. One of the main reasons why they don't want to make Dino Crisis is because they're worried that the game is not going to financially do well because a game that came out 20 plus years ago, they're saying because that game didn't financially do well, which it's stupid in my opinion because honestly, that game came out 20 years ago. Different, it's pixelated graphics. Of course, it didn't have a higher budget. It didn't have a very high budget. That was a different time. You
But
know,
yeah, definitely, it was a different time. Like Jurassic Park was the rage back then, and now it's just not the same. It's not the same
yeah,
fear in
like
society as it was
I
back then.
yeah, I mean, I can honestly say this: if Capcom, let's just say Capcom, if Capcom remade Dino Crisis already and it financially bombed, then yeah, I could say okay, don't remake Dino Crisis. But they haven't remade the game yet, so they don't know if it's going to do financially well or fail. Like you have to take a risk. If it sucks, then don't do it again. You know, but even if they do remake Code Veronica or Dino Crisis and it doesn't have the profit as what they're expecting, it's not really going to do anything. Let's be honest, because Capcom is a $1 billion corporation, and even if one game bombs, it's just going to make a small dent. But they can make that money back in a week because of Resident Evil 2, 3, Devil May Cry 5, Resident Evil 7. They're still making money off those games. So even if one game bombs, it's really not going to do anything for the company. It's not like they're going to go bankrupt and be like, "Oh my god, we're screwed." Like no, like it's not going to do anything to their company. But they need to take that risk in order for them to find out. It's like Capcom. You can't base it off a game that came out 20 years ago that had pixelated graphics, not a high engine, and it probably cost a couple $100 to make, if I can make a guess here. Um, but it doesn't have. But games back in the day, like with those type of graphics, like PS1 graphics, like it doesn't really have that big of a budget. I mean, if you're making Dino Crisis now with the RE engine, of course it's going to be very expensive to make, but at least take a risk here. I mean, fans have been asking for it for like 15, 20 years, especially with both Dino Crisis and Code Veronica. And they're just looking at something that happened 20 years ago. It's just, I think it's because they're not getting with the reality of things. I guess because a game 20 years ago did financially poor, they think it's going to happen now. It's like, no, like, how do you know that? You haven't done it yet. So how do you know that?
Uh, PSN asks, do you hope Kojima will develop a horror game?
Well, he said that he was going to be making a horror game. That's what he was gonna supposedly be doing. Like he was talking about wanting to make a horror game after Death Stranding. So, a lot of people are speculating he's gonna resurrect Silent Hills again.
Yeah.
I don't know. But honestly, if you ask me, I don't really trust Kojima at this point because what he did with Death Stranding, it was garbage. It wasn't really a game. It was just a literal walking simulator. And I know a lot of people really loved Kojima because of the Metal Gear series. And I haven't played Metal Gear, but I have a friend of mine who's a massive Metal Gear fan. Um, but that's why a lot of fans really liked Kojima because they thought like maybe Death Stranding was going to be like another Metal Gear game or something better than that. But after Death Stranding, I think the game was a waste because he didn't really do anything with it. I mean, you're just really going around. Uh,
PSN says, chillin' Kojima.
wait, what?
PSN's a huge Kojima fan.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have nothing against Kojima, but like, I just don't trust him making like if it comes to Silent Hill, that is, if he makes Silent Hill, like I'm gonna be really worried about that because he's gonna make that probably another Death Stranding 2. Um, I don't think I don't think the IP of Silent Hill should be in Kojima's hands. I think honestly it should go to Team Silent, even though Team Silent's not really around anymore, or give it to a company that actually cares about the IP. Because as far as I see it, uh, Konami doesn't want to do anything with it, and they're just letting it sit there. So I think Konami should just sell the IP, but they're not going to because, like I said, Konami is just greedy with their IPs, and they're not just gonna let anybody like anybody could buy the IP, but Konami are just not allowing anybody to buy it because they're, dare I say, they're assholes. They don't want their IPs being made. But the thing that I don't get is I don't know if you remember CV with Dead by Daylight, Konami actually allowed the developers to create a DLC of Silent Hill, so they allowed them to
Oh
use
yeah.
the IP.
Yeah, I
So
was
I'm
so
like,
tempted to play the game after they did that.
yeah, like after they did it, so I mean, they're allowing people to make DLCs and small things regarding the Silent Hill license, but like if they can do that, just give it to a company that will actually make a Silent Hill game. You know, I mean, they're already allowing them to use the license, so let's just create a new Silent Hill game. Screw it. You know, I think it should go to Sony to be honest with you, but I do, but I don't because I don't know. Sony has done some really shady stuff in the past year or two. Um, so I don't really know uh, how they would do it, but I think it would be better off than being in Konami's hand. I think anybody, honestly, I think Capcom would do better with a Silent Hill game at this point uh, than Konami. Anybody would honestly make a good Silent. Give it to no, no, I wouldn't say that. But yeah, I would say either give it to Capcom, Sony. Screw it, give it to Insomniac. I mean, maybe Insomniac would probably know what they were doing. Uh, definitely, I think definitely, man, if they did this would be like the game of the decade. But if Shinji Mikami and Hideo Kojima worked on a Silent Hill game together, that would everybody would be sold on that. I'm
Yeah.
like, you got those two legends working on a horror game. It's not even going to be bound to fail. I don't know about any of you guys watching, but to me, I think if we had a collaboration with Shinji Mikami and Hideo Kojima, with Silent Hill IP, I think that would be like one of the greatest Silent Hill games ever made.
Yeah. Oh.
I wish I could get a petition to have that happen, but I know petitions don't really work. But if it did, I'd be doing that in a heartbeat. Both legendary icons. I hope Shinji Mikami does well with Ghostwire because after when he left, like he doesn't really develop games as much as he did before. He actually allows other people in his company to do it, which I really do respect Shinji for doing because he doesn't like hog the spotlight. He's actually with the Evil Within 2, Shinji Mikami didn't have directional duties for that game.
It
He
was
did the one
vastly
he did,
different.
yeah. I think what was his name? Joe Johannes, I think, who directed the second one.
Oh,
I think
I
that's
don't
what his
know.
name is. Yeah, because Shinji Mikami directed the first game, and then he gave the creativity over to uh, what what was that girl's name at Asami Naka? No, was it Asami Nakaoka?
For
What was her
for
name?
what?
Um, no, it's something Nakamura. Uh, you remember that girl at the E3 presentation
Oh
at
yeah, the cute one.
yeah, what was her name?
So I don't know.
If anybody in the chat remembers who what her name was, wasn't it Akumi Nakamura? I think it was Akumi Nakamura.
You didn't like that they changed the voice actor for Sebastian Evil Within 2? Says Jolly.
Oh no, I like that change. I liked Sebastian. I don't necessarily. I think the first game is way better than the second one.
Yeah,
Um, but the voice for Sebastian Castellanos was dull as hell. Um, in the second game, Sebastian in that game, he actually had more. There was more life
personality.
in the acting. Yeah, there's more personality, uh, more what's that word? Uh, Personality wise, and the acting was more believable.
Oh,
Um, Sebastian in the first game, it was just so dull. He was like, it sounded like he just didn't care. You know, he's like Joseph. He's like, I'll come rescue you, Joseph. Here I come, Joseph. You know,
it,
and I mean, I'm gonna say that. You know, it's kind of sad. I think uh, what is it? Aneth, Aniz, can't remember her name. The uh, Azith,
oh,
the chick who played Joe Valentine in the live action
oh,
cutscenes of 1996. She did a more she was more believable than Sebastian Castellanos and Evil Within One.
that's pretty harsh. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, she
I'm
had
just
more.
kidding.
It's like Joseph, and then yeah. Oh, you know what's funny? Oh my god, she actually does because that's just funny. There was a guy named Joseph in that game, and then Joseph was in Evil Within One too. So it's like you got Azareth, I think her name is.
Oh
It's
yeah.
some weird name. She's like Joseph, and then you got Sebastian Castellano, Joseph. You know, it was not believable. I'm sorry. I'm like, how is it that a girl from 1996 with cheesy acting can pull off a better impression than Sebastian?
Good point. It might be the scripting. I remember when I first started playing second game, I was like actually confused if it was the same person because they sound so different.
Oh no. I mean, even Kid Ben, I liked eh, even though I like the first game a lot better, I like the characters' designs and voices better because they brought more personality to the characters and better voice acting in the second game. Story plot for the second game was not as great. I do appreciate that there are Resident Evil references in it, and there's a lot of Resident Evil references in Evil Within One and Two. But
Yeah, I need to replay those
yeah, there. I hope we get a third
because
one.
I obviously it went over my head when I first played them. But now that I've played all the Resident Evils, I should get the references. PSN says Ikumi Nakamura was the
Oh, it was Akumi
woman
Nakamura. Okay,
in
I was right.
Ghostwire presentation.
Man, it sucked that she left Ghostwire because I'm like at that time I think she was pregnant. Um,
Oh,
but I don't think it was because of her pregnancy though. I think it was well nobody really knows why to this very day. She just left. Um, some say that it could have been something to do with Bethesda. I honestly think it was Bethesda who drove her out of the company. I don't think it had nothing to do with like Shinji Mikami or any of the devs. I think Bethesda because Akumi is the type of creator who likes to do things her own way, and I think Bethesda was telling her like how to do her own work, like how to she's like an independent person.
mm-hmm.
Uh, that's what makes the game so great. But she had a lot of she was in charge of a lot of the creativity of the Evil Within games. But I think it had something to do with Bethesda trying to control what she does and what she you know how she runs her own creations. And I think Akumi said, "Screw you guys, I'm out." But I think it was because of Bethesda that kind of ran her out because you know they didn't like what she was doing with the project and they were trying to make her do or change her own creations and I think that's what the problem was why she left, which honestly I don't really doubt that because Bethesda are a kind of a shitty company, you know, because after what they did with Fallout 76 and how they kind of treated the fan base, I don't really see that's I I can honestly see that happening with Akumi and Bethesda. I mean, it's not really a surprise to me if Bethesda did treat her like that to make her leave the company. Um,
Sorry, I was just reading chat. Hello, Locus. PSN says I thought she left because of another company offered her more money. Hello,
yeah,
Bello.
somebody offered her another deal, but I think at that time, I think Bethesda was one of the reasons why she left on a short notice. It was kind of like it went unnoticed or anything. I don't think that's the whole story though. I think part of it is why she got another deal, but I think she left because of what Bethesda was trying to do. I think there's only like one half. I think that's one half of the story, but I don't believe for a second that Akumi left because she got another deal. I think it had something to do with Bethesda. Nobody really knows the whole story, so that
Yeah,
I think nobody will ever know. I think that will just be anonymous forever. So until Akumi comes out or somebody comes out that knew what happened behind the scenes, or Shinji came out and knew what happened behind the scenes,
yeah.
and they decide to tell us, then we'll know. But I think it's just gonna be buried for forever from now until from now on. So nobody will probably ever know.
Thank you, Bellowed, for the follow. Bellowed says Nem with his ASMR voice as always, lol.
Oh yeah, Nem's Bello's a buddy of mine. Uh,
Hello.
we actually we actually know each other. He and my friend Zonix, we play games on stream every once in a while. So yeah, Bello, what's up, Bello? How you doing, man?
Speaking of stream, I do have a couple questions about your streaming
Yeah, no problem.
Twitch journey, but before that, I do have one horror question left that has nothing to
Shoot,
do with games.
shoot.
Oh, he says, "What's up?"
What's
Or,
up, man?
what kind of things scare you? Um, like in general, like irrational fears. It could be like needles or spiders or something.
Not really much. I
He's a brave
actually
boy.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a brave person. Not a lot of stuff scares me. Uh, it would have to be, I don't know, like back in the day I used to be scared of like spiders and stuff and insects, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I used to be afraid of needles, but not anymore. I mean, when I go to the doctor and get like, blood drawn or something like that, I'm just like, it doesn't really hurt. It
Yeah.
doesn't like I a couple months ago, I went to the hospital and got some blood drawn, and when the lady put the needle in my arm, it didn't bother me. It's a weird feeling when the blood comes out because it leaves that like it makes your hands spaz a little bit, but like other than that, it doesn't really bother me. I have no problem like looking at the needle with the blood coming out of it. It doesn't really that doesn't make me squeamish or anything. It's just I'm just like, oh, okay, there's blood coming out of my arm. Cool.
Good morning, Swan. How are you doing? Do you believe in the paranormal?
I I honestly can't say whether I do or not. I'm kind of like in the in between. I don't really know if it's real or not. I just if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. But I don't really question it. I would like to stay like anonymous when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's really cool to think like it's real or I don't know. It just depends on like other things too,
Oh
besides
no,
like paranormal.
spoopy stories.
I mean, it'd be cool, but like in a way, like I want to say yes and I want to say no, but like I said, I'm kind of like in between when it comes to like the paranormal. I'm not like a huge believer in it, but I'm not going to say that it's not real because I do believe that there could be entities, but not what they kind of present on TV. You know,
Yeah. Some of
I
the
think
best
that's
horror
like
games have the paranormal in them. That's why I
yes.
ask. You're the first person who's was neutral about the subject.
Oh yeah, I'm more of in between. I don't know if anything if that stuff is real or not. I just kind of leave that up to like I just kind of question it. I'm not a believer, but again, it's not like I can't believe in it, but I just don't know. You know,
Yeah. So what about aliens and
I believe that
UFOs and
there's
stuff like that?
I believe that there's other extraterrestrials out there, but not, like I said, not what they present on TV. I don't believe
Yeah.
that there's aliens that are going to come down here and wipe us all out, but I do believe there are life forms other than us out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so um, but yeah, it's just kind of, I'm just kind of open to this stuff, but I do believe that we're not the only species here. We're not the only intelligent life forms here. I believe there's others out there on different planets that we haven't discovered yet. Um, we technology has come so far, but there are certain things like that we can't discover yet because we just don't have the advanced technology to uncover it. But I can't say, it doesn't mean that it's not real. We just don't. We're just not that far advanced in technology at this point yet.
Yeah.
Um, like for example, if you go down into the deep sea, like uh, we have technology that can't go all the way down there, so there could be like other life forms down there that we can't even discover because it can't go that far yet. But maybe in a couple more years, once technology advances more, I believe we'll get to that. But there are certain things that we can't discover that could be real, but we just don't have the technology to uncover that yet. But that's the good thing about things evolving. So um,
That's
you
true.
know,
Thank you
but
so
we'll
much,
we'll eventually
Swan.
get there.
Yeah, definitely. Lots to explore in the universe and in our own planet.
Hmm.
Thanks so much,
That's
Swan. I really appreciate that.
that's the good thing about everything. It's just like, I like to always just guess on everything and always question whether it's real or fake, but that's the interesting thing about it, you know. You don't like I think this life is not supposed to give away what's real and what's not. And it just leaves you a question about everything, which just makes it more interesting and more fascinating.
Um, so you mentioned you streamed like every other day. Uh,
Hmm.
around what time?
I stream really late. I'm trying to stream like a lot earlier because I pretty much stream around when you stream, like 10:30, 11 o'clock, sometimes midnight.
How long is this stream?
Hours. Like
Oh, okay.
6, sometimes could be 10 hours. I don't really have a limit until basically I get tired.
So no like um definite schedule.
Yeah, I don't really plan anything. I just stream whenever I feel like it or whatever, you know.
How'd you get
Um
into
I'm sorry.
streaming? How'd you get into streaming?
Oh wow.
And
Well,
when?
honestly, I've been streaming since YouTube, but I came over to Twitch because excuse me. Um, I came over to Twitch because YouTube wasn't the best for streaming anymore, and I kind of got sick and tired of it. Um, but I really do like streaming on Twitch because I think the platform's a little bit better. I don't think it lags a lot because I know when I usually stream on YouTube, it's like a 20 to 30 second lag, so it's really hard to talk to people
Yeah.
at the same time at like current time. Um, so when I do that on Twitch, I can actually talk to them in real time. So it's only like a 2 second delay, which makes it a hell of a lot easier.
I think it also goes based on internet on Twitch, but also if you go under the settings in Twitch, you can actually lower the latency mode to
Yeah, I
even
did
more
that.
real. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
if
did the
you
same
didn't,
thing.
then yeah,
Yeah, I did the same thing for YouTube. I actually put the settings in real time and it still delays like 20 to 30 seconds. So I'm like, I
that's
don't even think that even changed anything.
that's
I
crazy.
think it's honestly, I think it honestly is like YouTube servers because I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think YouTube servers when it comes to streaming like sucks. I don't think because it's not really a platform for streaming. I don't think it was made for streaming, and I think that's the reason why. But Twitch is like a platform for streaming. That's why it works so well,
Mhm.
because that's what it was honestly made for. So,
So when did you start streaming in general, and when did you move to Twitch, and
I think
why?
it was about 2 years ago.
So you've been on Twitch for 2 years.
Yeah, I think it was about a year and a half, 2 years. I actually had another account. My other account was called Nemesis X14, and then I lost the the login information for that, and then I created this one, which I'm on right now. So
Um,
But this account did a lot better because um, I'm kind of glad I lost the other account because that one kind of sucked anyway. So this one does a lot better, a lot wonders. So
Swan wants to know if you could meet any horror creature, what would it be?
do I have to name only one?
Go ahead.
Is that a is that like a only meet one kind of question, or can I meet multiple?
Nemesis meets Nemesis. He said, is that three? Yeah, three.
Okay, if it's three, then definitely what Bella said, Nemesis, of course, because that's like my broski right there. um, Second one is the T102 Tyrants, and the third one would have to be, man, that's actually a hard one because there's so many tyrants.
Turns.
Nemesis would definitely be my number one. Number two would be my T102 Tyrant, the T102 Tyrant, and
I was just thinking Pyramid Head.
oh, Pyramid Head, yeah, yeah, Pyramid Head. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head would be okay. He'd be my number two.
Swan
Nemesis
says,
would be number one. Pyramid Head number two, and then T102 Tyrant number three.
Swan says Cthulhu for him.
What was it?
Cthulhu. Cthulhu. Am I saying it right? I think, yeah.
Cut, cut,
Cthulhu,
Cthulhu.
you know, like, what's his name?
Who's I don't think I've ever heard about that.
Wait,
Who's that?
you don't know who Cthulhu is?
I
The,
don't think so.
what's his name? The guy who does, who made, Scientology.
I'm not. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Lovecraft. I knew it had love in it. Thank you. HP Lovecraft, yeah. Giant octopus. Yep, yep. Thanks, guys. Eldritch. Horror.
Not so much. I would just say Nemesis Pyramid Head and T102.
Hey, Jerry.
That would probably the Cthulhu would probably be dead last.
Those are really cool. Nemesis emotes, Jerry.
Oh yeah, oh man, those are actually really good.
So,
Isn't that looks like that looks like the one from Resident Evil 3 1999, only with only he's smiling.
he always looks like he's smiling to me.
Yeah, well, I think that's how they put it in the emote, but that is definitely the 1999 Nemesis face where he's on top of the clock tower when he blew the helicopter up.
Uh-huh.
But that's definitely what that is. Only he's smiling this time. I know some people actually put a smile on that image, which is really funny.
I apologize, Jerry, for saying HP Lovecraft created Scientology. I meant it was kind of inspired by his work, correct?
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. Not correct? Okay. Never mind. Just
Oh, okay,
scratch everything I said then.
okay. Yeah, I was confused for a second. I'm like, what?
I'm weird? No.
I'm weird.
Well, maybe I'm thinking like some of the beliefs were carried over from some of his work, maybe? I don't know. Maybe that's what I thought. I
Yeah,
stand
Bello. He said
corrected.
Yeah, Bello said they put that face and they put the smile over the OG 1999 to meme it. That was actually pretty funny though. I mean, it's a good meme. You know what else is a good meme? Chris Redfield punching boulders.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot believe that was an actual thing.
Yeah, in the 7 DLC, he had that iconic move when he punched
The
his enemies and stuff.
I mean, in seven it looked like a normal punch to me, but like if he's punching boulders and I call those I call those monsters in RE7 just for a joke, but it's what they look like. They look like a walking they look like a walking generator. It looks like a regenerator covered in shit, basically. It's like a walking turd. That's what they look like in seven. I mean, look, it looks like the regenerator got covered in just a bunch of turd, and that's what they decided to do for 7.
Resident Evil 7 Chris punched and launched a huge molded monster. He's crazy strong.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised that in Village, like Chris starts punching rockets. He starts like punching rockets back at the wolf-like creatures. If only. I mean, hey, he's already or throws boulders. I mean, he's in the mountains after all in Village, so I mean, there's a lot of rock around there. So yeah, let's see Chris pick up some boulders and just throw it at people.
Do you have any goals for your Twitch channel or maybe even YouTube?
Yes. Right now I'm trying to get my audience from YouTube to come over to my Twitch and just kind of like build a community over there because I have like a small community, but I would like to make it bigger in the future. Um, and I mean, so far that's pretty much it so far. But that's one of my main goals is just to build a community over there and just hang out.
How do
Um,
you how do you
I
do
also,
that? How do you
I'm
bring them
sorry.
over?
Well, I tell them in like a community tab on my YouTube channel because I know when you reach, I think 1,000 subscribers, that's when you'll have the available community tab thing, so you can like post whatever on it. It's kind of like what Twitter does, that you're just like posting just random pictures and text or whatever you want to tell your audience.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting feature, but it really does help.
What about maybe making a video talking about your Twitch?
Yeah, I actually have plans to do that in the future. Right now I'm trying to work out all the features on my Twitch channel, like like with the channel points and the emotes and the figuring out like the. I'm still trying to figure out the option where you put polls in. I know you can do that now, but
Uh-huh.
like I can never figure that out. Like, do you know how to do the polls?
I think that's from the bots, maybe.
Is it from the box? Okay.
Bot,
Oh, the bot. I'm sorry.
like third-party bots. I
Okay.
could be wrong, but I believe
Yeah.
that's where most people do polls.
Yeah, because I know you can do them on Twitch now, but like nobody has like I can't really find a tutorial where to do the polls at. They say it's like so easy, but I'm like, where? They
Um,
say it's like in the chat area, but I'm
you
like,
mentioned you mentioned that you do Streamlabs. Um,
yes.
it's in there. There's poll options in there.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Streamlabs has a lot of extra features from OBS, so you'll find a lot of tools and features you can use that are probably more user friendly than anything else.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. There's quite a few things I still am trying to figure out, whether it's like Streamlabs or Twitch. I'm still pretty new to it, so I don't really know all the features. Like, I know some people were telling me like you need a. I know what the emotes, which I still think it's kind of stupid that you have to do this in Twitch in order to get more. I think it's like 20 subscribers you have to have in order to get like another slot open, because I know they start you off with 3.
Yeah, affiliate can only have up to 5 emotes.
Okay.
So 3 for the first tier, then 1 for 2 tier, and then 1 for 3 tier. But they also allow you to have the opportunity to unlock more slots based on bits that are donated to your channel. But also, if you want to do free emotes, you just do the Better TT TV extension. Thank you so much, Tektashi, for that raid.
Oh, we got a raid.
How was your stream? How are you? Thanks to all those who stopped by. Minecraft, I love Minecraft. Um, we are doing a horror streamer interview today, talking a lot about Nemesis and his YouTube channel and Resident Evil and horror games in general. But hello, how are you? Went pretty well,
Hello,
that's
new
good to
people.
hear. Thank you so much for choosing me for that raid. I appreciate all those who stopped in. If you don't know me, I'm Cersei. I'm a variety slash horror streamer. And yeah, nice
She's
to meet you
great.
guys.
She's my first raid.
But yeah, the fact that you have such a large audience, Nemesis, on YouTube, I think that you can definitely use that to your advantage. And now they came out with YouTube Shorts, and I feel like that will drive a lot more discoverability to your YouTube. And like, because discoverability not is almost non-existent on Twitch, especially for smaller streamers. So you have to rely on other platforms, and the fact that you have such a large following on YouTube, definitely use that to your advantage. Do whatever you can. Use every YouTube feature you have available to you.
Oh yeah, that's my main goal. I don't know about the whole what was it called again?
YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I never. That's my first time hearing about that.
It
I know they
just
had.
came out in
Oh, okay.
North America anyway. It was
Yeah,
available in India for a while.
yeah, because I heard they had something. I never did
What's
this because I don't know
discoverability?
how that all works, but didn't they have something like it was called YouTube Stories where you can like post a
Um,
small thing from your phone to
I think
like update
that's what
people?
it is, because
Is that what
it's
it is?
60 seconds long. I
Okay.
think it just became available to more people. I don't know if it's like to everyone. I haven't really explored or researched it yet, but I know that a lot of people are finding success when it comes to getting more traffic to their channel, especially when they use certain hashtags because it's so new.
And is this only through like mobile, or can you do this from a desktop too?
I'm not quite sure. I did see the I can view it from PC, so I imagine it could be from PC as well. But I am still learning about it myself since it is new, like last week new.
Oh, okay. So it only came out last. Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look in more of that because I know they used to have something about that like months ago. So maybe that's like an updated version of it. I don't know,
Yeah. And
but it definitely
during
check
my
that out.
time researching about how other streamers find success, a lot of the bigger streamers, like the older Twitch streamers who've been on the platform for quite some time, who are pretty big, they owe
Yeah.
their success to YouTube because people from their YouTube were brought over to Twitch.
Oh yeah, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely trying to. I mean, right now we are uh our goal is to get to 300s because we passed 200 I think like about a month and a half ago. And it was funny too because this was actually during a Resident Evil 4 stream that I was doing, and just out of the blue, it was like really close to Christmas too. I think it was like 3 days before Christmas. Um, and just I only had like a couple viewers in there, and then all of a sudden, just multiple upon multiple upon multiple people started rating and following and stuff, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, am I dreaming here? Like it's just happening like every 30 seconds, just random people just
Oh,
it was insane.
was it? They're real people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I,
good.
I I had to make sure that it was not bots because I had that issue the other night because there was a bot that rated my channel that had like what was it like 900 and something viewers coming over, and it was just a bot.
Hmm.
Um, I was excited for a second because I'm like, holy shit, that's like the biggest raid I've ever had. But no, it happened twice, and it was just some random bots. And I hate like how bots show up in the chat. Like, I'm pretty sure you probably get this too in your chat, CV. But you know how like you get those messages where you're like, oh, you want to become more famous and you want more
Um,
follows, and
so in order to get rid of those, all you have to do is go to in your settings. There's words you can ban from chat, and I
okay,
think you can do it from your actual chat itself under the settings. But
yeah, I heard that you could.
just ban the words big follows and bye follows, and you'll never see those again because I haven't seen them in months since I've done that.
Okay. Yeah, if you want, if in case I forget, after after our interview goes off the air. Would you mind typing that to me
Yep,
on Discord
yep,
so I don't
yeah.
forget? Because I'll definitely do that probably right after the interview, and then get that all situated. Because I don't know how to get rid of those bots. Because like I said, I'm very new when it comes to this type of stuff. So I'm still getting that. Even after a year on Twitch, like I still don't know how everything works.
Twitch is constantly changing, and I mean, every platform is constantly changing, and I'm no expert, but I do know a lot. I've been on the platform on and off for about 7 years now,
Oh, nice.
so I do know a bit. So if anyone, including yourself, have any questions, I'll do my best.
I'm honestly still really surprised because I mean, 7 years of being on this platform and all the followers that you got, I'm surprised you're not a partner yet.
Well, yeah, partnership has become a lot. They raised the standards quite a bit in the last few years, but I did have a lot of. I had a lot of I want to say a good 3 or 4 years where I didn't have a consistent schedule and I was playing a lot of saturated games. So that really hurt my channel's growth. But
Yeah.
I just started growing actually in 2020 when I became more consistent and got a niche and started networking and making friends. That's what really drove the growth. And also taking
Oh,
advantage of social media, such as promoting with like game clips and things like that.
yeah. Um, I try to do the same on my end. But I mean, yeah, you'll eventually get partner. I think you should be now, but it just kind of sucks that, like you said, Twitch changes its rules all the time. um, in social media itself, like YouTube, it's just their guidelines and their rules are just so stupid. I'm like, do they even know how to work their own platform? Because I noticed too that there are certain days, like I don't know if you've seen this in your settings, but like when you look at like how many hours that you stream,
Uh huh.
and then do they like decrease for you? Because like I noticed that um, I had two out of the three achievements, and it just took one off, and it just everything started decreasing. Like I streamed like almost 200 hours, and now it's like at 67 hours. I'm just like it just decreased like every single day, and I'm like, why are these numbers going down by itself? I'm like, is this part of like Twitch's system or something like that? Because like everything is just so all over the place. I don't know, like the numbers keep going. Like even when you stream every single day, like on my end, like instead of the numbers going up, they go down.
I did notice that those achievements does take some time to actual update, and there are several different achievements of almost pretty much the similar, like, um, like they're too similar. Is what I'm trying to say. Um, the other thing is, when you stream long hours, your average view count goes down, so you're gonna wanna, especially as a small streamer, stream less. But you also want to stream less anyway because the more you stream, the less discoverability you're getting. You want to spend that extra time reflecting on how you can improve your content, but also creating content because discoverability mostly happens outside the platform,
Oh, I didn't even know
like on
that.
social
So
media.
so it's like the opposite where it's just like if you stream more, then everything goes down, but if you stream less, like, oh, okay, that's
Yeah, Twitch is quite different when it comes to other platforms, even in their algorithm. Um, like not only do they go based on view count, but they also take a look at chat velocity, and they take a look at watch time, how many people are spending this certain amount of time in your stream. Those are the type of people who will get recommended on channels, and how many people are hosting these streamers. So for example, like even if you're not a streamer and you put someone in auto host, like all those auto hosts adds up, and those are the people who will be recommended. So Twitch algorithm is quite unique compared to other platforms, but I mean it kind of has to be since it's one of the largest streaming platforms.
yeah. I never really knew that because I'm like I you would think like the more you stream, like everything would be more better, but yeah, Thank you for telling me about that, CV. I'm like, no wonder everything's like decreasing on my end. I'm like, I did not even know that.
I'm definitely no expert, but I do spend quite some time researching, you know, stuff about Twitch and how to,
I mean, you've been
you
here
know.
for about 7 years, so you would know more about the platform than me anyway. So
But yeah, their algorithm are constantly changing, and the last 2 years are actually did some, improvement, like the velocity chat thing. That is something that they took in consideration in the last couple of years. Before, well, and still is, the higher view count you have, the higher you show up in a category. So obviously, if you're trying to rely on Twitch for discoverability, those are the people who are, the big ones keep getting bigger and small ones keep getting smaller. So that's why we have to rely on other platforms. And the fact that you have a following on YouTube is perfect, and you should not have any problems when you're utilizing everything you can on YouTube to bring those people over.
oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for telling me about that because that's a real eye opener. So like, okay, so now I at least I know now. Because that's what I thought about Twitch. It's like the more you stream, the more noticeable that you would be on this platform. But I didn't know it was the exact opposite.
Yeah, with every other platform, yes, the more you post, the more interact, um, the more chances you get, interactivity, But
Yeah,
on Twitch, nope. Um, well, which is why I recommend the just chatting stream because of the whole chat velocity thing. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
and it,
I have
yeah,
done just chatting, but the thing is, like my audience is like very small, so that's very like slim to in it. Well, in on my perspective, I don't know about you, but I mean, you'd probably have a better chance at the just chatting thing than me. So
well, I think the fact that you're so knowledgeable, and you have that radio voice, you could have your own Resident Evil or horror podcast, maybe like every other week or something like that. I think that would really take off.
you know, it's funny that you say that too, because about a year and a half ago, like I think it was like in 2019, that was like my main goals. What I was gonna do. I think originally I was gonna have my Twitch channel as like a podcast because I had a group of people that I knew. We were originally going to do that, but then our plans kind of got in the way of everything, and we weren't able to do that. But I'm gonna try to do that with some buddies of mine because I know
Yeah.
Bello D in the chat here. He's actually one of those people, and then another buddy of mine is Zonix, and we were talking about doing like a podcast about Resident Evil Infinite Darkness because that's going to be a show
Oh
on
yeah.
Netflix, and
Yeah.
we were going to be doing that like every single episode when we watch it.
Yeah,
So I plan on
definitely.
doing something like that, and then I'm going to do that something like that for the channel as well. Like in my own perspective, I think I'll do like a podcast talking about it with them, and then I'll do like my own version of like what I think personally about the show and like my videos on YouTube. 'Cause that's another plan that I have for my channel too.
Those are good plans.
Oh, there's gonna be a
Yeah,
lot of stuff coming to my
definitely
channel.
collab with people, especially those with a following and stuff. But also, even if they don't have a following, it brings people bring the best out of you because you're talking a lot and stuff and engaging with chat as well. Um, yeah, definitely collab with people, and also, do you know what Twitch watch parties is?
Um, it sounds familiar.
It's when you can watch with your Twitch viewers on a separate hub, but it's all synced for your viewers watching something on Amazon Prime. But there's this thing called Tanami, which is a separate hub as well.
You
On
said
Twitch,
Tsunami?
Tenami.
Oh, wait, are we
I
thinking about the
know.
same Tsunami?
No, no, it's
Oh,
not
okay, because
Toonami.
Toonami
It's
is awesome. I
yeah,
gotta say that.
Tenami. It's a hub on Steam where you can watch Netflix in sync with your Twitch viewers. So
This
on
is a Steam
Twitch,
thing.
yeah,
Oh,
on
I didn't
Twitch
know that.
itself, you'll see your mic or whatever you put on the screen, but they'll have to open another tab to watch Netflix with you. But the chat and the Netflix show is in sync, so that would probably be another cool thing you could do with your community. Or you could just watch through Discord. But
Doesn't that
definitely,
fall under copyright though? Because I know wasn't there like a
um,
new law that went through that we couldn't like stream movies and stuff like that anymore?
we on Twitch itself, you're not streaming the movie.
Oh, okay,
Cause yes, that would be a ban.
okay,
We do have a couple questions in chat.
yeah,
First,
no problem.
Bello D says, "Hey Nam, I got a question for you. When will you get a new car instead of the K2? You guys wrecked my
Screw you,
car."
Bell. Hey, I'm not the one that destroyed it, man. That was Ozonics. He's the one who drove it and crashed and set it on fire. Why are you coming after me? He's the one that should get you another one.
Uh, PSN says, out of all the social platforms, which one brought you the most success in being discovered on Twitch? I think that's different for everybody. Not every platform works for everybody, and not every Twitch tip works for everybody. But I think definitely in Nemesis case, it would be the YouTube. And
Yeah, definitely YouTube.
for me, it's TikTok.
Ah, it's like, oh, you're a TikTok girl.
Cause it's new and hot, and all there's so many Twitch streamers on there who are ready to
Wait, you said it's new.
to
That isn't that been around for like over a decade now?
Oh, TikTok has been,
Yeah.
well, if we get technical, it used to be Musically, so it's been around for at least, I don't know, 5 years maybe. But TikTok probably been around for 2 years. But TikTok, as it is today, since it, you know, been, I think it was bought by Walmart or something, that is like only a couple months old. So
Hmm.
yeah, because there was a huge controversy about the whole data stuff, but a lot of apps take your data. So no
Yeah.
app
When?
is safe.
Oh no, I don't. I don't use apps. I don't use really apps on my phone. That's really all on desktop. But the only things I really use on desktop is like what I really use for, for content and stuff like Twitter, YouTube, and I use my email. But that's really about it. But I don't really have a lot of social platforms. I used to have Facebook, but I got rid of that because let's be honest here. I mean, I don't think really anybody uses Facebook in 2021. I think Facebook is honestly dying at this point. Um, and it's just a bunch of drama.
I think what you have the most important ones: the Twitter, YouTube, and Discord. Those are the most important ones as streamers.
And to be honest, like you know, I the reason why I'm online, like I use these platforms, is because I try to get away from all the drama and real life stuff. Um, like I'm on the internet to have fun and interact with people. um I'm not here as a place to you know start drama or any problems, like how like a lot of YouTubers do that, or it's everything's all controversial and stuff like that. It's just everybody, that's why I kind of miss the old YouTube. i missed uh I missed it when it was like back in like 2006, 2007, up until like 2009. Because YouTube used to be a platform where, you go on there and actually make just funny videos or just entertaining videos. But now it's become a website for, about politics and, drama and all that stuff. It's just like you can't even have fun on YouTube these days. And that's what the platform kind of turned into. And it kind of like irritates me because YouTube used to be a platform to get away from that stuff, but they're trying to bring that to the platform as well.
Yeah, I think Twitch is perfect for you then,
There
because
are
you'll
there are
meet a
certain
lot
things.
of people who are interested in the same things as you.
There's only one thing I hate about Twitch, and I don't know if I should say it or not. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Like when you're going to the just chatting sections, and you got uh, those type of girls. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they do
Uh,
favor the women at times, especially the ones who
Twitch thoughts.
make
I'm just gonna say it. Screw it. I'm gonna say it. Twitch thoughts. I hate them. I hate them.
evening comrades. How goes the crusade? Hey, no man, how are you? Bellod says, let's do a first impression on the story one day, Nem.
On Infinite Darkness, absolutely. I think that's what you meant.
Probably.
Well, yeah, I'd be honest with you. Like, Twitch thoughts, I don't like them at all because I'm like, I don't know. It's just I don't know about you or anybody in the chat, but those are like my least things about this platform that I hate.
Uh,
Um,
Nomad wants to know what was your first horror game.
Resident Evil.
Hydrating properly? Cheers. Cheers.
Resident Evil. Yeah, we were actually just discussing this earlier in the interview. No, but yeah, Resident Evil was my first ever horror game. Resident Evil 2 was my first ever horror game that I've ever played. And then later on I played like Dino Crisis, and then Resident Evil 3, Code Veronica, and up until now with the Resident Evil series. And back in the early 2000s on the PS2 with Silent Hill was my second. I guess you could say Silent Hill was my third horror genre that I played because my second was Dino Crisis. But Resident Evil was definitely first. But my favorite Resident Evil game of all time is the Resident Evil 1 remake.
Is there any particular Twitch women you do not like?
No, just random Twitch thoughts. I despise them. Like if it's funny too because there was a certain time I'm not really familiar with a lot of female streamers on here other than CV and I do watch Nicole Tompkins and Stephanie Panicello, but like when it comes to like really anybody else other than that, I don't really watch a lot of them. Um, but uh, but yeah, that's the only type of like female streamers that I don't like is the Twitch thoughts on here because for one, they're not really entertaining. Two, they're annoying. Uh, Three, all they do is sit there and show their cleavage, and it's just like I don't see how that's entertaining, but whatever. Uh, and it's funny too because when you there was the times where I went in their streams and I just like messed around with them and I was like trolling them. You can't even troll with these people or actually like joke around because they take it like offensive. They're always offensive at like the smallest things. Cause like the moment you say something in their stream, they're the dudes in there like automatically block. I
White
can't even tell
Knights is what they're called.
what is it?
White Knights.
Yeah, white knights, simps, or what do you want to call them?
Do not
I
speak
call
ill
them
of our queen.
Yeah, the funny thing is they actually did that. Like I literally told the girl and like I told these dudes I'm like stop sipping, and they all blocked. I got blocked like literally not even 10 seconds in the stream. I got blocked. I'm like
That word is
wow.
no longer allowed on Twitch
It happened
in
to
certain
about
contexts.
yeah. It's like I go in there and I said I there was times where I was like you're not entertaining. People only watch you because you show your cleavage. You're I'm like, there's nothing intelligent that you do on stream or whatever, and I'm calling her White Knights out, and they just block me.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's on Twitch, but Twitch has a lot of other great categories and
Yeah,
streamers.
yeah. Besides all of that, everything else on the platform is awesome. I just don't like the Twitch thoughts on here. I honestly think a lot of them should be off the platform because they're actually kind of killing the platform. Um, I don't know. They're just kind of like starting things with people. They're starting like drama on this platform. It's unnecessary. It's just like they need to either chill out or leave the platform because um, what they're doing, a lot of people are not liking um, because of their toxic behavior that they've been doing on this platform. It's just everybody's really starting to get annoyed and hate them. So and I can understand to a degree. Um, but I don't even watch them, so I don't care. But I think they're one of the reasons why this platform somewhat is not fun to be on. But other than that, like if you're not focused on that, like everything else about this platform is good. It's fun. It's fun to interact with viewers. It's fun to interact with new streamers. I just try to stay away from all that because I'm not a fan of that at all. It's annoying.
Yeah, it is sad that certain people shouldn't be popular that are just like regular celebrities, you know.
Oh, don't even get me started on like the no talent people. It's just like literally there are, and that's the one thing that kind of pisses me off about the music industry. You got bands like Seether and Breaking Benjamin and Evanescence and Linkin Park and all those good bands, and they only get like a few million views, and they've been around for like over a decade. But then you got like these hip hop artists who use like auto tune, don't even have talent, they can't even sing, but gets like 500 million views on their video. It pisses me off.
Yeah,
Like
this.
these are like no talent. They don't even play any instruments. I mean, you got bands that work their ass off to try to, bring. They're actually trying to bring rock back, and I'm really glad that pop music is sort of dying now because that used to be like the annoying trend of it all. But rock music and all that type of genres are slowly coming back because I think society is learning now that the crap that you know these hip hop artists or these pop singers, these auto-tuned pop singers that have no talent, they realize that yeah, that music is garbage, and they know because I've seen some things going around that people are slowly learning like what they do behind the scenes, and they're understanding like not how fake they are. And I'm just really glad that rock music is still alive and it's slowly kind of getting back where it needs to be. But it's going to take a lot of time, but it's slowly getting there. So these bands deserve more recognition, way more than these fake uh, pop singers.
Yeah, we could say that about every industry. A lot of hardworking individuals don't make it big, but
Oh
and
yeah.
sometimes it's just about the networking or the
Well, it's
connections.
also yeah, and it's also because sex sells too. It's just like, oh,
That's
if you
true.
look good on camera, okay, yeah, the thing that pisses me off is like, I'll be honest with you, when people get in the music industry, some people sleep around to get to the top. I mean, we all kind of know this already, but yeah, it's like you got these talentless people and they just sleep their way to the top or do something behind the scenes that gets them the recognition that they don't deserve. Um, but that's the music industry for you, and that's really just any industry for you, like movie industry, all that stuff. Because I'm pretty sure you guys seen some movies with actors that can't even act for anything really, and they're just a joke. They're kind of like the Tommy Wiseau. I take that back. Tommy Wiseau is probably a better actor than these people.
Um, Bellowed ask, have I seen Nemesis' face? No, I have not. Because before he used to show himself on cam, nowadays he rarely goes on cam.
If you want to see my face, well, right now my camera's broken, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't. So I had to get another camera. But if you want to see my face before my camera broke, you can go on my YouTube channel if you haven't been on my YouTube channel. For those of you in the chat, you can go over to my YouTube channel and look at my Jolene Anderson, which is like one of my recent videos that I published. Um, but I'm on camera in that video talking to her, so you'll see a glimpse of me in that if you're desperate to see my face, if
There,
you're that curious.
there are tons of really popular Twitch streamers who don't need a cam, and but when it comes to discoverability, it is a people are 80% chance more likely to stop in your stream if they see a picture or a camera.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about I'm not afraid to show my face or anything because I've showed it many times on the internet. But the problem that I have is like there are a lot of people out there that only like your content if you look good. If you don't like, if you have a good voice but you don't look good physically, then tell you to like can I swear on this channel? On your channel?
Yeah.
They they uh they tell you basically to fuck off.
Um. Yeah, I agree that those type of audience, like even I get them sometimes.
Hmm.
Like everybody gets them, where they
Yeah,
trolls. But you're gonna attract an audience that you already have, or like the Resident Evil community or the horror genre community. You're gonna attract those people. So I don't think you have to worry as much.
yeah. I mean, if there are new people that come to my channel, like on my Twitch channel, and I end up showing my face, I'm like, I'm the type of guy I don't really care what people think about me because I can give two shits what people think about me. I'm not really I'm not that insecure about what I look like.
Yeah.
If people don't like it, then honestly they can go fuck themselves.
Mhm.
But if you like what I do, whether you know because a lot of people see me as a really entertaining guy, and when I do my Twitch streams, I'm mostly not on camera, but I can make people laugh and people just enjoy it. I don't have to be on camera for people to enjoy what I do.
I
You know,
agree. It's the interacting and the mic and your voice. That's what keeps the people there.
yeah, and I'm very grateful that I do have the ability to entertain people. I'm just really glad that I'm an entertaining, funny guy compared to a lot of people, and I guess that's just part of my shtick. But I'm really glad that I have that. I guess you can say talent,
Mhm.
um, because there's quite a bit of people that are not entertaining or can't make people laugh, but it just naturally comes to me. You know, even when even sometimes when I'm not trying to, or I can say something that just makes somebody laugh. I don't know. It's just in my blood, I guess. I guess I just have the natural talent of entertainment and comedy. I guess
PSN asks, how do we feel about the VTubers/streamers?
VTubers are the next big thing.
Yeah,
I don't really watch a lot of VTubers, but um,
some of
but
their art's really good, some are not. I've seen some really creepy looking ones, but some really
oh
good
yeah,
ones. Like the anime
um,
ones are my favorite.
yeah. The like I said, I don't really watch a lot of VTubers, but it is becoming the next big thing because the sad thing is, but the ironic thing is, people, when it comes to like Twitch thoughts and stuff like that, it's funny to me that they get triggered over this stuff, that they get actually pissed off when these guys,
Gatekeeping.
yeah, that they actually want to watch these VTubers more, and it pisses them off, which I find hilarious because it's just like a computer generated character is more attractive than a real life Twitch thought, and but it pisses them off because they're not making revenue from these people anymore and all that. So it's just like, well, I mean, what'd you expect? I mean, digital media is become the future anyway. So I mean, are we really surprised at this point?
Yeah. Um, so I'm gonna end my stream in just a few minutes. If anyone
Okay.
has any last questions, feel free to ask. In the meantime, is there any socials you like to promote?
Oh yeah, you guys can follow me on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Nemesis. I think I might have to put in a
I
different
got it.
link. Oh, you got it?
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, because I know sometimes the link is different. So uh,
What else?
you can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter. It's just at Nemesis. You can actually go on my Twitch channel, and I have tabs that if you click on those tabs, it'll direct you to the accounts too. So uh, you can follow me on there.
Hi, Isaac.
Uh, and Yeah, mostly Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. And my Twitch is Nemesisx15, which you can see here on a CV screen here. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitch at Nemesisx15, uh, Nemesis over on YouTube, and Nemesis over on Twitter. Um,
What kind of content could they expect on your YouTube channel?
my YouTube channel consists with definitely Resident Evil content. I'm a Resident Evil fanatic, so expect a lot of Resident Evil content, especially in the upcoming days when Village comes out with that announcement, and then just a lot of horror stuff. You know, there's narrations on there too. I got a whole category of that. I started doing interviews with some Resident Evil voice actors, and I plan on trying to do. I'm trying to do more in the future. I can't promise anything, but I am trying to reach out to more people, see if I can get some more interviews. But there is some on there as well. Just kind of like a mix with narrations, Resident Evil content, some Silent Hill content, and when it comes to gameplay, that's all going to be on Twitch.
Thank you, Isaac. Sonic says, gotta love that Resident Evil content. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Guys, go check it
Absolutely.
out. Um, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for your questions, and I hope you enjoyed. I definitely recommend Nemesis to do more of those on your goals, on the collabing and all that. You have some really good goals.
Thanks. And thank you very much, CV, for inviting me to the stream. I had a really awesome conversation with you and your viewers as well. And yeah, it's been fun.
Good night, Bello. Good night and or good day, everybody. I'll be doing my last scheduled interview Friday, which is now, but later tonight. Anyways, when is your next stream, Nemesis?
Um, I was gonna do one probably later on today. So check that out. And yeah, I mostly stream almost every day on my channel, so expect to see me a lot on Twitch. But I don't have a schedule or anything like that, so I kind of just stream whenever whenever
But
I feel
around
like
the
it.
same time every night, right?
Yeah, it's mostly around the if you're on the East Coast, it's gonna be like 11 midnight, sometimes 1 a.m. But I'm trying to stream a little bit earlier in like the late afternoon.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm trying to get all that fixed, but we'll see where that goes from now on. But that's how it is right now with my scheduling, but nothing too special.
Sonic was lurking. Well, thanks for the lurk. You never played Resident Evil? You should. Have
Oh,
a great
definitely check
night.
it out. There's also spin. I think there's a game that you have to check out too as well, CV. I forgot to tell you this. Did you play Resident Evil Survivor yet?
No, I have not.
Definitely check that out. There's a lot of
Okay.
spin-offs because I know you played Revelation
Yeah,
1 and 2.
I'm working on spin-offs right now.
Yeah, you got Code
Revelations 2
Veronica.
is the one I'm gonna be working at. Actually, I think I might not take any time off this week and just try to catch up on games.
And oh yeah, we for those of you watching too, there's a couple streams coming up too on my channel. I know Stevie's going to be playing it as well, but I'm definitely going to be streaming the Medium on the 28th of January at midnight Eastern time, because that's when the game launches. So expect that, and then in June, June 22nd at midnight, same time. Uh, Me and a couple buddies of mine, we're going to be playing Back for Blood, which is apparently Left 4 Dead 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why it's not called Left 4 Dead 3 is because Turtle Rock can't use the Left 4 Dead license because it's under Valve.
Uh,
So that's why they had to change the name. But it's basically Left 4 Dead 3 in modern day graphics.
yeah.
So expect that as well this summer. And yeah, there's some exciting things coming to the channels. So yeah, expect all that. That expect to see all that.
Good night, Isaac. Good night, everyone. Yeah,
And again,
definitely expect lots of horror games.
a lot of horror content.
Yep.
The Views definitely my biggest anticipation. Also going to be playing Resident Evil Village as well, so
Mm.
expect that. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming that on YouTube or Twitter yet. That's or not Twitter, Twitch. That's still up for debate right now, but I'm going to be playing that game. I just don't know what platform yet. So, but yeah, there's some exciting stuff coming to the channel. So if you guys want to follow me over on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, uh, I'll I'll give you guys updates about when I go live because that's what I usually do on Twitter or YouTube. That's where the updates come. But other than that, yeah, that's my plans for 2021 so far, unless something different happens in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. And again, thank you, CV, for inviting me. It's been a great long conversation about Resident Evil and just survival horror, and getting to know you as a streamer and just as a person in general. Um, and thank you everybody in the chat for. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed my rambling, my conversation with CV. So, but I had fun.
Yeah, it was
So
fun.
thank you.
It was good meeting you, officially. But yeah,
Yeah, you too.
um, thanks so much. And good night, everyone. And have a good night. Have a good day. Catch
See you
us
guys.
at night. Because we're, horror streamers. So, okay, bye, guys.
See you guys.